It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, back at it. Energized, ready to go. Rothman and Ice. Anthony Rothman, the Iceman, is back. The loose cannon is at the switches. Good to see you, fellas.
Oh, it's good to see you, my boys. I'm back. Hope everybody had a great weekend, our listeners as well. Shout out to our guy, Adam King, AK, for holding it down for me on Friday. I appreciate you, brother. But, yeah, it's
Is that what you're calling it, holding it down?
Holding it down with
All
AK.
right.
Holding it down with AK. But, yeah, man, it's good to be back. I missed you guys, and I'm ready to cook this week. How you been? You been okay?
Pretty good, bud.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Good.
Ice, good to see you.
Good to see you, Tress. It's always good to see you, Tress.
Yeah, that's right.
My guy.
We got to keep that mystery going. You may have to wear a mask or something when you go out there this year. Yep, we got a nice show for you today. We'll get after it today. So, and I know we're going to get to the Cavs in the next segment, but I just want to be honest. I want to tell you what's on my mind.
Get it off your chest.
So last night, I did go through a feeling of that this is the softest 3-1 lead in the NBA.
Oh, you believe?
Hang on.
Okay.
I went through this, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
A was the way they lost. So now you get embarrassment pride, which is different than just you lost a game. So you get embarrassment pride that goes along with it. So you can almost get in your mind that you could almost guarantee a win in Game 5. And then, I love to say, the Pacers now, it's not they can win the series. They should.
Yep.
So when it goes from could to should, my favorite saying.
It's what you did with the Blue Jackets this year.
Then all of a sudden, it adds a whole different mentality. And then, I don't know, I stayed up way too late last night. And I'm watching all the post stuff, and then I hear Atkinson come to the table and say that Donovan Mitchell is having an MRI. So then all of a sudden I go, all right, forget it. It's not the softest 3-1 lead anymore. And because you have to admit, at least, if the Cavs take this to 7, I don't see the Pacers winning Game 7. I don't think but that's no guarantee. I get it. But I just think, like, if you came back from down 3-1 and were able to tie it and have Game 7 at home, the avalanche of momentum would be there. And then, so that was a nice dip in the roller coaster. Like, I'm going up. I'm feeling like, okay, soft 3-1, pressure's on them. Everyone's counting the Cavs out. It's over, all that stuff. Feed into that. And then I hear the Mitchell news. And then the thing rides right back up again. But he left the arena not in a walking boot.
Okay.
So that means it's not foot-related. Maybe it's, or I don't know, maybe it's lower calf or something. And so I don't know whether he's going to be able to Karate Kid this thing and Daniel LaRusso is going to fight and whether this is going to happen. But I've now gone through a rage of emotion because I was all ready, Maddie, to make a parlay bet last night. Cavs win the series and then grab like Scheffler and Rory at the PGA and try to combo this up where you could get a lot of value on that. But now I'm in the waiting on Donovan Mitchell, and now I have no clue.
Let me see if this tweet does anything for you in your belief. Hey, Cavs fans.
Oh, no, I know who this is.
Yes, it was an ugly one, but we've been here before. Time to get 3 in a row, 2 of them coming at home. Let's start AR with Game 5 on Tuesday. #BelieveLand. That comes from the owner. Old Danny G, Dan Gilbert, trying to tell you, AR, do not give up on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
He doesn't. He's speaking my language. I'm okay with that. I mean, anytime it comes from an owner, you just kind of feel like, okay.
What else is he supposed to say?
I mean, maybe if that came from a player,
I
would maybe have
buy it more?
Just maybe because they have a little sense of the locker room. They have a sense of the motivation. But we've gone down that road with players.
Correct.
Where they guarantee stuff or they want to just feed it into existence. And I'm all about, no, I shouldn't say this. I'm not all about this because I don't do it myself. But I'm all about them doing it. Being more confident and just saying it and hoping it and believing it'll happen.
Yeah.
But when it comes from the owner, it's like, all right, you can't wash away what happened last night and how bad it was. Now, they did, this is not a flex, they covered the second half spread by like 10.
After getting absolutely mollywopped in the first half. That was sad to watch. Credit to the Pacers because they just came out cooking from the three-point line. They hit 6 of their first 9 threes. In the blink of an eye, you're just like, man, you get punched in the mouth. You're bleeding, and you're just like, how can you recover from this? And they tried to, but it was just too late. It was way too late. Pacers go into the locker room at halftime, 12 of 18 from 3. I mean, 66%. I don't care who you're playing or who you are. If your opponent does that, you are in a lot of trouble. You know what's sad to me, though, is there's a vibe to me and maybe a theme that started to rack up over the last 3 years, the last 3 postseasons, that they don't handle physicality well. They don't. 2 years ago, they got punked by the Knicks. They even came out and talked about, Jared Allen said the lights were too bright. We talked about the offensive rebounding from, at the time, it was Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson. And so you get beat up there. Last year, a young, physical Magic team takes you to 7 games and made you sweat it out and earn every bit of that postseason series. And here we are, and you watch these games, and it's Nembhard and it's Mathurin, and I know he got thrown out of the game, but he's been kind of all over the place in this series. But the Pacers are trying to, you can tell, impose some physical will on the Cavs, and it just doesn't feel like they respond well to it. So that's what's disappointing, is because I thought they would have learned from that 2 years ago, but here we are again. We're 3 postseason series, and I think teams around the league are saying, hey, you get into a series with the Cavs, and you can punk them a little bit. And I just think that's an unfortunate thing that's attached to this team right now, outside of the big elephant in the room, which is the health of this team, which is so unfortunate. And then you look at the Game 2 situation, how that ended with the Halliburton dagger at the end, and then the league coming out and saying, yeah, that putback by, who was it, or the dunk off the free throw? I'm forgetting.
Oh, that was
at the time. But whoever that was.
That's the one he swung the Neesmith.
Naismith, thank you.
Okay.
Neesmith in the league coming out and saying, yeah, that could have been called a lane violation. Like, those things stink to hear.
When have they ever called a lane?
I know.
The next time will be the first time.
Correct.
Those guys are all in the lane.
You're right. But that was out there after Game 2. So that, look, the Pacers were awesome offensively yesterday, but I just didn't like and don't like how the Cavs' lack of responding to teams getting physical with them has maintained over now 3 years in a row.
It's really kind of unbelievable, really. You mentioned the Mathurin deal, and Hunter goes over in front of everyone on the, let's go to the first one. Hunter gets what, kind of, would you call it a sucker punch, or was it not even really, what was that?
That's
what
fair.
was he doing?
I don't know.
Was it a gut? He kind of didn't poke him in the gut?
I don't know what that was.
What was that?
I don't know how we would describe that.
And then Hunter goes in front of everyone in a dead ball situation and just 2-hand shoves him to the deck. Now, that didn't change the game. I saw people, and Mathurin, before he got ejected and after. What, are you kidding me? They were already down 12.
Correct.
If anything, that was going to work for the Cavs, not work for Indiana.
Yeah.
And because they lost him, he gets tossed.
Yeah. I mean, at that point.
And you lost the guy that scored 23 in Game 3.
Correct.
So you tell me who won that tossing. Because if I'm on Twitter, it's like all of a sudden it was like the Pacers were a different team.
Yeah.
Really? They were killing you from the get-go.
They were.
Nothing changed.
Right out of the gate. And you get in these playoff series, and the frustration level ramps up even more because you're playing the same team over and over and over again, and you're getting sick of your opponent. And you see a guy like Mathurin, a little push, jab, whatever you want to call it, to the gut. And then Hunter's walking over to him, pointing his finger in his face, and he shoves him down to the ground. It's easy to say, I think you got to keep your cool, which you do. But I do think when the same guy in a series continues to do things like this, eventually that pot is going to boil over, and that's what happened for Hunter.
Well, what happened with Hunter was what would happen to any human being. Not only would you be frustrated, but here's where I think the frustration goes to another level, Matty. When you don't think anybody saw it.
Yeah. That
really hurts you. That's the one, because but now in the NBA, they're going to go back and look at things, and it's not like I don't know when the line of demarcation was between what you could get away with before and what you can't get away with now, because they can go look at everything. But he was going to get his money's worth. The only thing he didn't do was punch him in the face, and which would have really gotten him taught. But once they knew what sparked it, then I think they got it right. But who knows? I mean, a lot of people are saying, well, Mathurin got tossed because he poked him in the stomach. Well, it was in a weird time. It was not in the act of an NBA. It was not in the act of a basketball play.
No, not at all.
And so, I don't know.
And also, I got to say this. Yeah. Jared Allen, I'm sorry. 2 points, that ain't going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. He's way better than this.
I put him in the cooker on Friday.
And he did not respond. Yeah. He didn't respond. And unfortunately, this has been a thing for him in some of these big games. We know they've got 4 all-star caliber players. They got the defensive player of the year. But in a game to where on the opposite side of things, Miles Turner, their big man, is absolutely cooking and doing playmaking and stretching the floor and rebounding. You got to find a way to answer the
game
call.
2.
Turner, I'm talking about in this game.
Absolutely,
in game 4,
yeah.
Jared Allen just was nowhere to be found. So just a really, really disappointing showing for him when they needed him to step up.
All right, Dr. Hayes.
Yeah.
When are we going to get the Mitchell report?
I don't know, big dog. We probably won't hear anything until
the old
tomorrow.
One, the baseball one. I'm talking about this one. Yeah, the Donovan Mitchell. We need this.
Oh, man.
And the spread, I always go to Vegas because why would they want to be exposed? So the question becomes, if he doesn't play, what do you think the spread should be?
Doesn't play.
If he didn't play, if Mitchell was ruled out for the game, what do you think the spread would be?
In Cleveland tomorrow night, I'm going to say Pacers would be favored by anywhere between 3 to 5 points.
Okay. Well, the Cavs are favored by 8 right now.
Okay.
So you tell me.
They think he's playing.
Of course they do.
Season's on the line. He's going to suit up.
All right, we're going to come back. Speaking of seasons on the line, it feels like the NFL, Maddie, always does like the little trickling of promotion. We have the opener, but what should it be? We'll do that next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Hey friends, Brandon Beam here, and when I dropped 70 pounds with Awaken 180, it felt like finally finishing a massive home renovation. Job done. Everything looks sharp, but it gets better, actually. I just had my first free monthly maintenance visit, and I found out I lost another 4.2 pounds without really even trying. It's like discovering an extra room in your house you never knew was even there. Awaken 180 isn't about meds or quick fixes. It's like learning exactly how to stock your fridge and pantry with all the right tools. I still eat plenty, still feel satisfied, and now making healthy choices is second nature. Like flipping the light switch on the first try in the dark. My body's firing on all cylinders, and I'm down 75 pounds without medications or hunger tricks. Just real education on eating smarter and feeling fantastic. Call Awaken 180 or visit awaken180weightloss.com. Trust me, once you learn the blueprint, your only regret is not calling them sooner. 844-346-1800. 844-346-1800.
When an orthopedic injury or condition gets in the way of life, there is nothing more important than finding a physician you can trust. At Orthopedic One, you'll find Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts, ready to listen to your concerns and work with you toward the best possible outcome. In fact, more people trust Orthopedic One than any other practice in Central Ohio. Start with the specialists. Start with orthopedic1.com.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at the Honda dealership here in Central Ohio, Germain Honda of Dublin. You know the brand, you know the reliability and the styling. Now get to know the deals. Grab a new 25 Honda HR-V, a 25 Accord SE, or even a 25 CR-V LX all-wheel drive for 0% up to 36 months. Talk to my man Rich. Get the right vehicle, the right deal at the right dealer. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270.
From the hardwood to the warehouse, performance matters. That's why Caster Connection, proudly based in Columbus and trusted nationwide, delivers industrial caster and wheel solutions to keep operations rolling smoothly. With an unrivaled online inventory and the best consultative experts in the industry, we'll help you find the right caster for any job. Shop now at casterconnection.com and save 10% on online orders with promo code ROLL10. Not a retail location.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at changethegameohio.org. That's changethegameohio.org.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It is going to be a mild day, but mostly cloudy to start with rain chances developing into the early afternoon. Highs in the mid to low 70s. Tonight down into the 60s with showers likely. And then for Tuesday, we will see mid 70s for the highs with rain chances continuing and also for isolated thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo for The Fan with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Anthony used to ski in his jeans? Are you serious? No, he's not from New Jersey. Back to Rothman and Ice.
Saved on ski pants, though. That's a plus.
Good for you, big dog. You know what else is a plus, fellas? It's the Columbus Men's Clinic. Listen up, because I talked to a bunch of guys, and I hear a similar thing over and over. You're dragging. You're a little tired. You can't work out like you used to. And maybe you're thinking, man, it's just because I'm getting old. No. It doesn't have to be that way. That's why I want to tell you all about the Columbus Men's Clinic, because these guys, they don't do guesswork. They just make it happen with real treatment, no gimmicks, real science, no online quick fixes that just leave you frustrated. Online pills are way too expensive and generic to just not work. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, their medical providers build a plan around you, your body, your goals, and what it takes to get you back to feeling like yourself again. Testosterone, ED treatments, stuff most guys don't even know exist, and trust me, fellas, it works. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Your consultation, including blood work, is just $99, and they will find a plan that works with your budget. Don't procrastinate on this. Call them right now and get this done. That's 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com.
NFL's different than college, right? Although college is changing, because now that college football has an expanded playoff, you can start seasons with blockbusters, and the loser isn't out of it.
Got life.
You have life. Listen, from a fan standpoint, there's no argument. You always want big games. This little ramp up of cupcakes, it's unbelievable, especially now when you consider the money that's involved. The talent was always crazy off the board. You know, okay, well, you stroke a check. The best thing about college football non-conference is when you pay to lose. That's unbelievable.
The opponent, like coming into the shoe.
When you get paid, pay to lose. Right. You want to talk about the definition of adding insult to injury? You know, stroking a check for $1 million to a school to come in and beat you? Mm-hmm. All right, so, but the cupcakes are what they are. It allows teams to ramp up, maybe avoid injury, rest their starters, kind of wade into the season a little better. Now, with the expanded playoff, you get Ohio State, Texas right out of the gate, or you get what have we had in the past, man?
Clemson, Georgia? Am I making that up? Something like that. We've had some bangers early on.
Did Georgia go to Madison early? I can't even remember. Anyway, we've had some.
No, LSU did.
All right, so.
Yeah. That's some good ones early.
We've had some decent ones,
I'm
right?
Here for
some blockbuster openers.
LSU versus Texas.
When was that?
2019, the championship year.
Yeah, so well before the expansion.
And the thing I've noticed, too, is we'll get these bangers in week one, and then what programs we'll do, and I don't know if it's every program, is you'll see like Ohio State's schedule this year, then it lightens up for the next few weeks. So you can, as a team, let's say if Ohio State does fall to Texas this year, you've got those next 2 to 3 weeks to really get things in order and get some momentum and more positivity back in your building and more confidence as well. But I love whether it's the NFL or college football where we're starting right away with headliner games with two of the best brands and two of the best teams in their respective sports.
With the NFL, it's different because there's parity in the NFL. I'm not saying here if you took Philadelphia and they were hosting Carolina or name another team that you know they'd be favored by close to 2 touchdowns. But the NFL announced that Philadelphia is going to host Dallas. On paper, it's great. It's great. I have no real issue with it. I guarantee we could have come up with a better one if they really wanted to play an interdivision game.
Let me throw these by you because I'm curious to hear your take. The Eagles' 2025 home opponents are the Cowboys, the Giants, the Commanders, the Bears, Lions, Broncos, Rams, and Raiders. So of those, 8 teams I just mentioned right there, they roll with Dallas. We know why. It's the Dallas brand. It's the reigning champs. It's 2 teams that don't like each other and obviously a division rival. And that Cowboys star with Jerry Jones and Dak and the star power with now Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, that it's going to attract eyeballs. So I understand why they did it, but AR, of those 8 opponents that you had to pick from, if you were the schedule maker for week 1, who would you have brought into Philly if it wasn't going to be Dallas?
All right, so there's 2, but I want to ask your opinion first about a theory.
Okay, yeah. What do you got?
Do you believe that the NFL not only loves Dallas, but will love having the rings and the banner go up for Jerry Jones to have to sit through?
So you think there's a little evil going on with Roger Goodell in his mind? That he wants to stick it to Jerry? The league wants to stick it to Jerry?
No, I think it's mostly what you said. There's no bigger brand in their division, certainly.
Right.
The better game is Washington.
The repeat of the NFC title game?
100%.
I'm surprised you picked that.
No, well, that's one of them.
Okay.
I think the other one that I'd be more interested in seeing, just to see where they are, is the Bears.
Really? I thought for you it would be Lions coming into Philly. That would be. I thought that was the game you were going to pick.
Yeah, no, it's Washington or the Bears.
After what you saw in the NFC Championship game, run it back because the Washington Commanders got cooked in that title game.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need to see the headline of all headlines right out of the gate. Like I don't know if that's.
I loved when we got Detroit and Kansas City 2 years ago. That was great for me to see because. You could obviously make a case, and I see what you see. With Washington, the addition of Debo now on offense, where are we going to be at with Jane Daniels right out of the gate? And it's a divisional opponent. I understand that. For me, I would have gone Eagles hosting Lions first, and then I would have gone Eagles hosting the Bears second.
Okay, so we both had the Bears in the 2-hole.
Fresh new look, right? Caleb Williams, new head coach, all the new toys that they have. I would have liked to see Caleb Williams in that spotlight trying to take down Jalen Hurts on ring night because I think the Bears are going to be a pretty doggone good team this year. They were good last year. They were just in the best division in football, so they got beat up a little bit and had a rookie going through his rookie season with all the learning that he has to endure, as any rookie does. But, yeah, I would have gone Lions first, and then I would have sent Chi-Town down to Philly second.
What would be outside of knowing how good they are? There's no real – what were you talking about, the revenge factor? Or the –
For Washington?
With the Lions.
No, just for me, that's just 2 of the best teams in the conference.
Yeah, it had nothing because they didn't play last. It's not
that's just where my mind is at.
Okay, I thought you were leaning into something that happened last year. I couldn't remember if they didn't play last year.
Maybe I was talking about Washington, and that's what I was talking about with the repeat of the NFC title game. But Detroit and Philly may be the NFC title game this year with how good those teams have been over the last few years, especially Detroit. And they've been knocking on that door. Like, they're one of those teams to where you got to wonder year by year, how much are they going to start feeling the pressure to get it done with the roster that they have?
So you're totally right on who would be favored to be in the NFC title game right now. It would be Detroit, Philly. I don't even think. Maybe you could convince me that Washington might, but only one of those teams can win that division.
Right.
So I'm not really sure. But Detroit, Yeah, I'm going to stay. I agree with you. On paper, it's Detroit, Philly. That would be the game. I think the team that's really so puzzling right now, and I cannot get a handle on them, is San Fran. I can't figure out whether they're going to be as bounce back as I believed they could be. And now
They
I'm
just
starting
lost
to come
everybody.
Yeah, now
And they were 6-11 last year.
Well,
I know, but
they lost a lot. However, for me, Purdy, Ayuk, Kittle, CMC, that works for me out of the gate. I hear what you're saying. Like,
how many games is CMC playing?
that's fair, but for the conversation right now, I'm going to assume he's healthy.
All right.
So I just think they still have offensive star power. I think they got to have these rookies that they drafted this year, especially on defense, pop for them. If that doesn't happen, then I think TLC's on the right track that they could be in trouble. But I think offensively, I still think San Francisco is going to be able to hang if they do have those, Avengers out there every week.
yeah, I'm looking to see who they. I mean, I agree. I don't know where to go with them. I always believe in them. Their offensive line, I just don't know if it's going to hold up. But it's weird. They should be the bounce back team, right? But with what they lost, it's hard to truly believe in them. I can't wait to see their schedule.
Remind me of what else they lost outside of Debo. What am I missing?
Aaron Banks on the O-line went to Green Bay.
Worried about their O-line a little bit.
Okay. AR, they've earned, I think, everybody's respect and belief to do so. Under Shanahan's watch, they've been right there.
Did they lose Hufanga too?
Is he still hurt? Or did he go somewhere else? I think you're right in thinking that.
Did he go to Denver?
I think you are right that he did leave.
This is how this works, is when you're in a certain season, your brain only works for certain sports. And with it being May 12th, I already forget what happened in free agency 2 months ago.
Here's what they did, fellas. The first 5 picks for them this year were all defensive players.
Okay.
So they're telling you, or they're telling us, that they feel like they need help on defense.
Here's what I think they could be. They lose firepower offensively, but they may be a more complementary team this year. They might be. I think that they're going to be a tough out. I can't imagine they're not. I can't imagine they're not a 10-win team.
Yeah.
Hufanga is a Bronco.
He's a Bronco now. Okay. And what they need and what they banked on when they drafted him was Ricky Pearsall Jr. being the Debo replacement. Now it's put up or shut up time for him.
All right, we're going to come back and check in at Brown's minicamp. And Dylan Gabriel actually named his biggest competition. You'll hear it next in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Dealin' Days are back at Lindsay Honda. Lock in your deal in May. Save thousands on hundreds of new Hondas. Simply pick your new 2025 Honda and enjoy 0% for up to 60 months. Yes, 0% for up to 60 months on all new 2025 Hondas, including HR-V, Pilot, and Ridgeline.
Cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Lindsay's got it, and you're gonna save.
See you, Lindsay Honda, during Dealin' Days.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Right now, you can save big on 2-pound packages of fresh strawberries. They're delicious and just $3.47 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony finally hit a hole-in-one.
It's in the hole.
So now what? Just bask in the glory?
And that's how she wrote.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, we're going to have Jeff Lloyd on from the Orange and Brown Report at 2:30. But we'll dig into a little bit of the question marks at quarterback and what the Browns are dealing with. I do think that mini camp football may be the most overhyped thing in sports. All I saw on Friday or whenever it was on Twitter. Yeah, that, oh my goodness, Shedeur just connected with Quinshon Judkins. It was a 3-step drop with a 5-yard out. Nobody rushing, nobody covering.
Hey, they're building. They're stacking days.
It's fine.
You got great chemistry already.
It's fine. But when I'd see the video and I'd be like, the three of us can do that.
I saw the same thing for Dylan Gabriel.
It was unbelievable.
It was a nice pass there. Nobody's in coverage, and it was a good throw. But
yes, you drafted a pretty good quarterback who can throw football. We get it.
I think what happens is we all love football so much, and when we get done with the games that actually matter, any feel of that we get, we run with, because it's awesome to talk about. The combine, pro days, this type of stuff.
You know what else it is, Maddie? Honestly,
we eat it up.
We're Cole and I were talking about this before the show. We're such a visual society now.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff your brain, your eyeballs take in when you're scrolling social media, the amount of information that's funneling in and funneling out. We're such a visual society. Just seeing those guys in that uniform is enough. It's enough to get the juices flowing.
It scratches the itch.
That's it.
You're so right.
But when I was reading stuff like that, he connects with him. It was a 5-yard down and out with no one rushing.
Listen.
And I was reading connects. You mean he tossed the ball to him? Yes, that did happen.
The Dylan dogs are out there, and the Shedeur soldiers are out there as well. And this is only the beginning. Wait until we get to training camp. And this is going to be amplified even more. But I'm here for it.
That's
I'm glad it happened
training
for
camp
us.
Maybe a little different.
I'm glad it happened for us because they're going to be arguably the biggest story of the NFL offseason when we get to the practices that actually matter and what the heck is going to happen in this quarterback.
I'll actually give a little bit of credence, though, to training camp because not everybody can make it out alive. Yeah. Because the Browns have 5 quarterbacks, and only 3 are dressing on Sundays.
That is true. And I also lean in a little bit to the joint practices as well. That to me is pretty valuable when you see when another team comes in or they go over to their soil to see what you can do and how you've been putting in work so far.
All right, so Dylan Gabriel is not the household name. Maybe around here he is because you faced him twice with Oregon, and then most sports fans obviously know who he is, but this isn't Shedeur Sanders. Everybody knows that. And they surprised a lot of people, not by maybe picking Shedeur, but it's where they did after Dylan Gabriel. So he was asked, this is Dylan Gabriel, was asked about, I guess, the competition and who he's going up against, and he gave the classic, this is the stock answer that I think is going to work for him for a while.
Like I said, with competition, how I approach it, I'm trying to beat yesterday. Myself yesterday, just any chance I can be 1% better than that. That's how I look at it. And naturally, you play the quarterback position, only one guy can play. So there's naturally going to have competition at all levels, and that's why we're in this game. We love it, and if you're a competitor, you love it and you run towards it. So that's what I do.
Is it possible to be 1% better every day of your life? That would get into a weird math problem for me.
Yeah, because there's only 100. Well,
because if you're 1% better than yesterday, and then that keeps compounding, and now you're 10% better than you were 10 days ago.
That means at the end of the year,
that seems like a lot.
You are 3.5 times better than you were.
That's right. Like, that seems like an awful lot.
It does.
I don't know if that could be mentally, physically possible.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me, like coaches and players and GMs. Bosses. These guys, you have so many canned answers. So many.
Hey, you did it. You got it.
Found it.
What is that?
That wasn't the right timing of it, though.
Maybe it was. I liked it the way that you did it.
Every time every time somebody in the office says something that they deems big or exciting, and it's like doesn't live up to the hype, I always go boing and
get 1% better today.
And he found it. So I guess we did just get one. We either got 1% worse or 1% better. Either way, we're different.
You are completely right. As a coach, player, scout, whatever, you can have so many canned answers that you get away with.
That's a stock.
Every time you hop behind,
right down
no
the middle.
question. Like
just trying to beat myself.
You don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
You don't have to, now, does Dylan Gabriel really feel that way behind closed doors when it comes to the quarterback competition? We'll never know. Have to imagine both he and Shedeur respect each other, but they want to get after each other and earn that spot because it's not only that guy that they have to leap over, it's the other guys as well. Deshaun's out of the equation. We're not going to get anything from him this year after popping the same Achilles twice in the offseason. But when it comes to Pickett and Flacco...
You didn't make him eligible for comeback player of the year, Matty?
He's done.
You're not betting on him?
He's done.
The odds are great value.
The man is cooked. The man is absolutely cooked. But I wanted to run this by you because of the news that came out of New Orleans this weekend. Maybe the Saints come a-calling for one of these veteran quarterbacks to send down there with the young quarterback room they have. And it might be Pickett, because Pickett was in Philly last year with Kellen Moore, who is now the head coach. I think we're a ways away from that happening. You got to find out who your guys are if you're Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. But that wouldn't surprise me because, like TLC mentioned, they're not, I don't believe, going into the season with 4 quarterbacks. They didn't do it last year after they booted Tyler Huntley out there. They rolled into the season with 3. But it's just something I thought about with Kellen Moore down there in New Orleans. He's pretty familiar with Pickett after being around him for a year, so maybe he'll want him down there in NOLA.
Well, we know who they avoided because they had a chance.
Talking about the Saints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'd have to go back through their draft. And yes, they were eligible to pick Shedeur Sanders at 9. Look where he got drafted. Nobody was taking him. So I can't imagine that, I guess they could have picked him later if they felt he was a value pick.
They went Tyler Shuck second round.
That's the other
right
point.
There,
He was chosen. Well, Shuck, and we can go through the other guys, but those two teams, the Browns and the Saints, both took other quarterbacks other than Shedeur. Now, they wound up getting Shedeur. That's fine. Maybe it was too tempting to pass up late. Then there's no guarantee that Dylan Gabriel is going to be the guy they think he is. Mm-hmm. So I have no real problem. I never really had a problem with them volume shooting, but it is counterintuitive because if you do think Dylan Gabriel's better and you trust your scouts and you trust your instincts, then what you told us by picking Shedeur is you're really not that sure. You're not that sure of Dylan Gabriel because you wouldn't have wasted another pick on a quarterback. So I think they view them as a little bit of a wash, but not really because they took Dylan Gabriel early. And the Saints have told us what they think, that they took Tyler Shuck, and they believe he's the guy. I guess the mystery around Carr was absolutely true.
Yeah, he's cooked. That shoulder's done. Can't do anything. And so that's really unfortunate for him because he's not super old. How old's Derek Carr? Late, mid-30s? 30?
Played 11 years.
Played 11 years. So he's probably maybe mid-30s.
Well, they made up for it by drafting a 26-year-old quarterback.
Who has injury history as well.
So 34,
If I'm a Saints fan, I'm like, wait a minute. So the guy that we just had as our starter the last year or two, he's done.
34.
Okay, Carr is. And then the guy that you brought in, and Tyler Shuck, has the history of injuries.
And will be 26 when the season starts.
And you and I talked about that. To me, that's not the worst thing. If you hit and you get, a window of 7, 8, 10 years, that's fine. Yeah, to me, that works.
Where they drafted him, yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have drafted him in the first round.
No, I'm with you.
Not as that guy. All right, we're going to come back with Party Like a Roth Star next. Who had the best weekends? Find out. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to the Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. TNCs apply. Available in app only.
It's a different world today than it was 30 years ago when I started Care Heating and Cooling. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, 30 years ago, you were the first to warn of companies using service technicians as salespeople, of abusing the trust that a service technician has. With the big conglomerates now buying companies all over Central Ohio, this has become the normal business model.
It's all about greed. The conglomerates know they can make a lot more money by incentivizing their technicians to sell air conditioners instead of fixing them. They train their techs to take advantage of a customer when they are the most vulnerable.
Dad, that is not how we were taught. In 2024, Care Heating and Cooling was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio is your Medicaid plan for more. More benefits, more rewards. We know that good health means more than just seeing a doctor when you're sick. Eligible members can receive extras like home-delivered meals and family essentials, like baby carriers and kids' school supplies. Members can even earn rewards for playing mobile health trivia games. Learn more at AmeriHealthCaritasoh.com and call the Ohio Medicaid Consumer Hotline at 1-800-324-8680 to choose AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio.
Common Man has hosted shows with radio royalty, Spielman, Tor, T-Bone, just to name a few. So listen to his new show with Timmy Hall. If man can pull this one off, he's a miracle worker. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Let's all gather into the Kiki. It's time to party like a Roth star.
Indeed it is. Well, so many choices, so little time. Maddie, if I pick somebody that was in a losing effort, is that a rarity because... You know how an MVP can never be on a losing team?
Unless you're Andre Iguodala? Wait, that happened, right? Am I making that up? What am I thinking about with the NBA Finals thing?
Jerry West.
Yes, that happened. How do you feel about
Those
that?
two remind me of each other a lot.
Just define it. That's all I want.
Okay.
If somebody put out the criteria that you can be the MVP of a series without being on the winning team, I mean, if the series went 7 games, let's say you were overmatched, let's say you had injuries, and some guy, rises up and has the most miraculous series, but it's just not enough to put you over the top. I don't have a real problem with it. Why wouldn't he be considered the most valuable of the series?
You got to be on the winner for me to be the MVP of a series. I don't think you can be a
want
loser.
Winners.
Yeah, I do.
Ice, I think what you were thinking of is LeBron should have or could have been
Thank you.
the MVP when Andre Iguodala won it.
Yes.
But what you just said, though, and funny enough, I sneaked that in right after you say that the MVP should only come from a winning team.
Yeah, that's how I view it.
And you're a LeBron guy, so you got to be consistent here.
Shout out to the
All right, I'll give the guy that I want to make. He's on the losing team. Lost the last game, but the reason I like, because I think he was kind of benched a few weeks ago. He's now needed again with Steph out and all that. He's a former seventh rounder, or seventh. Was he the seventh pick overall? Yeah, seventh pick overall out of the G League, though. And it's Jonathan Kuminga, because he had a sprained ankle early in the year and missed like 30 straight games. In the playoffs, he's averaging like 8.5 a game. So you're like, why am I mentioning him? He had a massive game 3 against Minnesota.
He did.
36 minutes, 3 threes. He was rebounding. He scored 30 points. He was 11 of 18. Guy scored 30. He averages 8.5. His first language is French. And my high school girlfriend took French. So I can do a little son des mots qui vont très bien ensemble. Boing. Julius Randle messed around and got a triple-double. He's probably the guy I should have chosen. But I'm going with Jonathan Kuminga out of the NBA G League that scored 30 in a loss, averaging 8.5.
Okay, I see you. I see you over there. I'm starting in Major League Baseball, and I'm starting up in the land. And I'm going with Steven Rich Homie Kwan. I love watching this dude get busy in the leadoff spot. Over his last 9 games, this man has racked up 15 hits. He is 6th in Major League Baseball in batting average, 4th in hits. The dude's only struck out 5 times this entire year. He is pesky. He makes the starting pitcher or any pitcher throughout the game work. If you're a pitcher going up against Kwan, you know you better bring your best, because he's going to be fouling off your best stuff. You get him to 2 strikes, the at-bat ain't even close to being over. He does exactly what you want from a guy hitting number 1 in your lineup. Last year, he finished in 12th in batting average in Major League Baseball. This dude is just everything you need to set the table for guys like Jose Ramirez and on down the line. So not only does he do it with the stick in the box, but he does it with his glove as well. Really enjoy watching him play. Right now, he's racking up another tremendous season. Steven Kwan partying like a Ross.
How did he do against Wheeler last night?
Wheeler's one of the best. I don't think that went too well. I think he got a knock, though.
Okay.
Let me pull it up
because I was watching that game when the Cavs went south.
Wheeler went 6 shutty on him. He went 7 innings.
He had 8 Ks. I just don't know if he was.
He did. Wheeler went 7 innings, AR, 3 hits, no earned runs, and 8 Ks, as you mentioned. Steven Kwan, though, 2 for 4 in the game. One of the best, man.
Took you right where you wanted to go.
Good right there.
All right, I'll go baseball.
Okay.
So let's go back a few years. So since 2022, no one has had more multi-home run games than this guy.
Talk about him.
More than Aaron Judge. He got his 18th multi-home run game. He's got a 46-game on-base streak, which is the 4th longest by a Phillies player since 1910. I wasn't sure they were keeping those kinds of stats back then. Before the season started, he was 10-1 to lead the league in home runs. He's tied with Judge with 14 right now. And that is Kyle Schwarber, the big Schwarbowski. And so when you think about that, he had 2 last night in the win over the Guardians. And the former Hoosier, like I said, was 10-1 to have the most home runs this year. He's got 14. Suarez has 12. Shohei has 12. And Judge has 14. You can name Judge every Monday if you want to do this. But I'll give it to Kyle Schwarber, because I think that was pretty enlightening to me last night, that he has more multi-home run games in the last 3 years than anybody else.
Yeah, he's an absolute beast, man. And he is timing this up perfectly, AR, because at the end of the year, Kyle Schwarber is a free agent. So he is about to get to the bag. Aaron Judge, you mentioned him. He's batting .409 right now. Like, this dude's a mutant. Second candidate for me. You started off with a guy from that Golden State, Minnesota series. I am going to go with a guy in that same series, but he's playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I want to talk about Julius Randle, the former Kentucky Wildcat. He was in that trade going from the Knicks to the Timberwolves that sent Carl Anthony Towns to the Big Apple and Julius Randle out to Minnesota. He's been a really, really good Robin next to the Batman that is Anthony Edwards. Right now, he is their second leading scorer in the postseason, that being Randle, and he leads the team in assists in the playoffs for a big man. He's averaging 22 points a night, 6 rebounds, and almost 10 assists in this series versus Golden State. Anthony Edwards is the star. He's going to get all the commercials. He's going to do all the highlight dunks and do the bulk of the scoring. But this is exactly what they expected from Julius Randle when they acquired him from the New York Knickerbockers. So I'm going Julius Randle, the lefty. He can impose his will with physicality. He can do a little finesse game as well. He's been really good against the Warriors. Julius Randle partying like a Roth star.
All right, let me go to the golf course. This man travels to tournaments with his own gang of Tanqueray. No, I'm kidding. His own Diet Coke if he knows the event provides Pepsi products. Okay. He's like, I'm good. I got my own. He's a very interesting dude because he was born in Austria. He moved to the States when he was 14. His mom is an American, worked in a golf shop in Austria, met his father-to-be when she sold him a golf club. Apparently, this is the story, the backstory. He went to college at Georgia. He's been pretty good in the majors. Tied for 16th at the Masters last year. I don't know what he did this year. PGA Championship, tied for 7th a couple years ago. Top 30 at a U.S. Open. Finished second at the Open Championship in 23. Tied for 9th in the Players Championship, Matty, the 5th major. And
they did fool me with that.
Final round 68 after a 66 Saturday. His name is Sepp Straka.
Okay.
And Sepp just got his second win of the season in Philly. It's a signature event, the Truist Championship. 4th career win on tour. He joins Rory as the only multiple winners on tour so far this season. And now he jumps to second in the FedEx standings behind Rory. And I do want to find out, because I didn't find this out for you, is what he raked in yesterday. And it looks like he made $3.6 million for the week. He definitely got more than 1% better in his bank account. Sepp Straka, partying like a week.
Last guy for me. I'm going down to H-Town. Going down to H-Town because, as you know in baseball, when you have an ace, we call that win day. Everybody wakes up, the fans, the coaches, the teammates, and says, this guy's on the bump. We're getting a dub. That's what's happening for the Houston Astros because Hunter Brown, you may not know him, but you better get to know him because this dude is going to be cooking for a long time. Hunter Brown tied in first place right now in Major League Baseball in wins with 6. He is 6-1. He's tied for second in ERA with a 1.48 earned run average. He has pitched into the 6th inning in all 8 of his starts. You know how great of a deal that is to help your bullpen out in a series when you get a guy that's eating up this amount of innings. That's what he does. So the guys on the marquee for Houston will be obviously Altuve and Alvarez and some of those other hitters down there. But Hunter Brown is emerging as one of the best young pitchers in the sport. This dude for the Houston Astros is partying like a Roth star. He's been cooking with hot grease all year.
All right, that's party for today. When we come back, top of the hour, Sports Center update. And we have some comments that could suggest that a holdout is coming. The communication has ended. We'll tell you who and what team next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes. This week's honoree is Stuart McGinn, a 12-year patrol veteran of the Columbus Police Department who's seen the toll that high-stress work takes on first responders. Inspired by CPD's Therapy Dog Unit, Stu found a way to give back by training his rescue dog, Albie, to become a certified therapy dog. Together, they volunteer at Ohio Health, offering comfort to frontline healthcare workers, one tail wag and smile at a time.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes!
That's you taking another sip of your
Mountain Dew.
Do the Do.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Hi, this is Ron from the Good Feet store. Are you standing on painful feet all day? Don't lose hope. We want to help you live without pain. Discover your options and visit goodfeet.com. Or stop in today at the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway in Grove City.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Well, Trina, now you're in charge of ordering food for the office, so meet my mountain of menus.
So, this should be easy.
Easy as pie. You know the mathematical constant for a circle circumference to diameter ratio, pi? It's super complicated.
In that case, I'll be using EasyCater. It's got everything on one simple platform. Tons of restaurants, dietary preferences, even digital receipts.
But my mountain of menus.
How about I order us some pie?
EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. One day after getting shut out by the Philadelphia Phillies, the Cleveland Guardians start in a series with the Milwaukee Brewers tonight up at Progressive Field. Ben Lively gets the ball for Cleveland opposite Freddie Peralta. 6:10 first pitch up in Cleveland. The Reds with an off day today before starting a home series with the White Sox tomorrow. NBA playoffs, the Boston Celtics looking to even up their series with the Knicks in New York. 7:30 tip tonight at the Garden. Golden State, they're hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves at 10. The Timberwolves up 2-1 in that series. Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Washington is in Carolina at 7, and Edmonton hosts Vegas at 9:30. And the NFL will kick off their season September 4th. That's a Thursday night as the Eagles host the Cowboys. This one brought to you by Germain Toyota, the best selection of new and used cars in Central Ohio. You can view that selection online, germaintoyota.net.
Matty is a diehard Reds fan. I mean, where else is he going to go? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Very true. Second hour on the way. Keith Smith, front office show. We'll hit the Cavs. Are they cooked? Where's Donovan Mitchell? Will he play? Try to answer some of those questions.
Got an update for you real quick. Shams was on McAfee this afternoon and said, quote, Donovan Mitchell had an MRI today, and he has been diagnosed with a re-aggravation of an ankle injury. I'm told that he's going to be a game-time decision for Game 5 tomorrow night.
All right. You know, he'll actually, Dr. Stephen A. Smith will send him out on the floor, and even if you're a cripple, you get out there. Show us that you care.
Yeah.
Show us you care. That's all fans want. Guys, I care. I care about you because I don't want you to waste any more time and money with low-quality online TRT, testosterone replacement therapy that charges you more than $100 just to start. You can visit the TRT experts today at Low T Center for a free consultation, free test. Treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted. You have the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. You're in control of your health. Just take control and get the numbers. Also, while you're there, if you're looking to lose weight, get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. Offers limited. Book now. Go to fixmylowt.com, fixmylowt.com, and get back to feeling your best. Where are the Bengals right now? Listen, I'm a big fan of Trey Hendrickson. I think that they needed to attack their defense, make it a strength again. He's a guy that can do that. Now, I have no idea what he's willing to play for or what they're offering him. When you start thinking about, you know, my goodness, they need so much. Slayton comes in. He's kind of a run-stopping nose tackle. Asai, they needed edge depth. When Hubbard went down for the season, Asai I thought was good. I thought he delivered. And you bring him back on a one-year deal. You hope you can kind of continue that. And now he's kind of penciled in as a starting edge rusher. We thought he was going to be opposite Hendrickson. And so there's no guarantee this defense is going to be any better than what they were before, and they were garbage. And they thought they could overcome it. And I sat here thinking, can you have both? Can you get T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson? I think we kind of knew who was going to be the odd man out, and it was going to be Trey. And it just feels like that. So here's Trey Hendrickson, who, by the way, now must really feel wronged by the Bengals to take this part of it public again and just trying to kind of gather up a little fan, hatred towards the ownership, I think, here, and that basically I kept my promise. I delivered the results. He's intimating, Matty, that they didn't follow through on what they said they do.
You want me to read the statement,
please.
AR? Shefty tweeted this out a few moments ago, and it says, Trey Hendrickson's statement today to ESPN, quote, no communication has taken place between my camp and the organization post-draft. The offers prior to the draft did not reflect the vision we shared and were promised last offseason if I continued to play at a high level. Coaches are aware of these past conversations. Rather than using collaboration to get us to a point to bring me home to the team, in all caps he types, they are no longer communicating. I have been eagerly awaiting a resolution of this situation, but that's hard to do when there is no discussion and an evident lack of interest in reaching mutual goals, end quote.
So J.J. Watt he's got the player side of this, right? And I just had it. I wanted to try to find his response.
Close all them tabs, big dog.
Yeah, I really have way too many tabs open.
You know what's interesting about this? While you find out, go ahead.
J.J. Watt tweets, I assume it went something like this. Last offseason, quote, we don't want to do a deal now, but we'll make you right next offseason and get it done early. Player has a great season. This offseason, low ball offer, now crickets. And then he writes, pay a fair price early or pay top dollar later. Teams want to treat it like a business, but don't like it when players do the same. I don't know if he's completely wrong there. It feels like, but I wasn't in the room. I don't know what promises they made to him. He does deserve a reward. He probably thinks he can get massive money. And I think they're in a position now where they're probably thinking, first of all, I think the only answer here is trade him. But I don't know if they're going to get what they think he's worth as an NFL sack leader and an all-pro. Maybe he's 30 years old. It's not easy. So if you want to get massive value for him, and then someone's got to pay him when you trade him. So that's why this becomes very complex for Cincinnati, because the easiest answer would be your defense sucks anyway. Trade him if you don't want to pay him. Try to rebuild that way. You've got a great offense. See if you can just keep scoring points. But they haven't done that. So it makes me feel like his trade value, I think it's a first-round pick. There's a package probably that would work with him. It's just, I think what we're finding out is maybe the league doesn't want to pay him what he wants.
And maybe they don't view him as valuable as maybe they do as far as trying to give up draft compensation.
That's right.
Because if you're the Bengals and you had any team, to me, that was willing to offer you a first-round pick during the draft and you didn't do it, that's a swing and a miss. That's a massive swing and a miss, especially for a guy at his age. If any team was offering you that, you should have done it immediately, in my opinion. What I find very interesting about his statement to ESPN is the sentence that says, the offers prior to the draft did not reflect the vision we shared and were promised last offseason if I continue to play at a high level. If that is true, and the Bengals said, hey, at this time last year, Trey, we love you. We just want to see a little bit more or the same level of play before we commit to you again. And they're holding up. They're not holding up. They're into the bargain. That's a terrible look for the franchise. Now, that's the player side of things, but he's using the word promised, AR.
That's right.
And he went out and led the league in sacks this year at 17.5. And so I completely understand his frustration and maybe even anger at this point, because he's saying, I was available, I did my job, I balled at the highest level, and also I did it with a lack of help around me. Let's just be honest. The guys that were playing alongside that D-line with him last year were not making a whole bunch of noise. And we love Sam Hubbard, but he did not have a good year, and we wish him well in his retirement. And Osai and Miles Murphy, when Osai woke up late, he did. We got to give him that. But they haven't been consistent players. And so this is another situation where the Bengals, as a franchise right now, look pretty bad when it comes to contracts and financials, especially if Mike Brown and that gang promised this man that we're going to come to the table correctly if you go out and hold up your end, which we know he did.
You have to find a team that's willing to pay for a guy at his age. You do. And there are a lot of teams out there that like to have these guys and trade for them when they know they're going to have them in their prime. He's now at the back end of his prime. So you'd have to give up something and pay him, what, $30 million a year? Is that what he's probably going to ask for?
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he's asking for.
So let's all agree that that's what the Bengals are not doing. They're probably going to get him into the mid to high 20s.
And he's like, no.
And feel like he's 30 years old. You're not going to be able to produce those numbers again. And while we do want to give you a reward for producing those numbers the way you did, we think 10, 11, 12 million more than what you're making is a pretty good reward based on what you did. I look at it from his point of view, too. Most guys that timed it up the way he timed it up would get paid. He's not old, but
he's been consistent. Like, this wasn't a one-year thing.
He's going to make, what, $16 million if he played the last year?
Right now?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. You know, obviously wants an extension now, especially at his age. He's running out of time to get the massive deal. You've talked about this a lot. And so, I mean, I would probably sign him to a 2-year deal.
I love that
I don't know
idea.
if he would take it.
I love that idea because I think, to me, in our world right now, what we're talking about, that works for both parties.
Two for 60, 2 for 58.
But he's going to say, AR, if we're his agent, he's telling us, I'm 30. I want 3 to 4 years. I want security. That's the problem here because you laid it out well. On the team side of things and history of the league, you're not finding a whole bunch of elite pass rushers past 31, 32, 33. There aren't guys that are producing at the level he's at when they get to their early to mid-30s. It's just a rare thing. But Trey's saying 3 out of the 4 years that I've been in Cincinnati, 14 sacks, 8 sacks, and back-to-back years of 17.5 sacks. So, of course, in his mind, he truly believes that he's going to be elite. And on the team side, they're saying, hey, we just threw out a lot of coin on offense, and you're an aging player, and we don't know if what you've been cooking is going to come out of the kitchen and taste the same the next few years.
Listen, do I think he deserves a contract, a pretty good one? Absolutely. I do. I think it's such a weak part of their team, and he's such a big part of it. And I know there are people that would say, well, they were horrible with him. Well, now think of how horrible they were, and now maybe double it. You know, and so I feel like overcoming without him is going to be really, really difficult. But I'll give you my honest feel on what they're thinking about. They have zero motivation to move on from him until his deal is up. And then what happens? They'll get a compensatory pick from him, and then they'll move along.
See, that's a mistake to me, too.
Right. Well, I'm just telling you what I think the Bengals are thinking. Let his contract run out. He's got another year. Get a comp pick for him, and now he's in his early 30s, and we drafted a young guy who, by the way, had like 4 sacks for a career in college.
Shamar Stewart,
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so
you'd get more than a comp pick if you traded him. Like like he's saying, if this is true, if they're saying they haven't been communicating at all,
that's what's happening.
You got to trade to do it at the draft.
Of course you do, but they didn't get bowled over with the trade probably. And so they were thinking, they're weighing, Matty, do we get one more year with him and take the comp pick? If the trade didn't bowl us over, then we're better off having him for a year and letting him walk versus trading for this dreck and having somebody steal him from us just because we don't want to pay him.
And they don't think he's going to hold out. They don't. They don't think he's going to hold out for games. Because you're right. I think that's what they're banking on. They're going to stand their ground and say, okay, you want to hold out? We'll fine you. And you're hurting the team, and your teammates are going to be upset with it. It's messy. This just got real messy because he's calling out the team publicly now.
Well, and he probably feels it's hit a dead end now.
Yeah.
That he's entitled to do this. That he wants to now gain public support. All right, we're going to come back. And a guy that maybe doesn't care about public support is Bill Belichick. Matty, he had a front row seat for a competition this weekend. Creepy or supportive? We answer that next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that, and often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, or if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, and your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make a change for the good. And for a limited time, new patients will get their initial appointment free, which includes blood work and a medical consult, because we believe low T treatments could have an incredible impact on your life. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at the Honda dealership here in Central Ohio, Germain Honda of Dublin. You know the brand, you know the reliability and the styling. Now get to know the deals. Grab a new 25 Honda HR-V, a 25 Accord SE, or even a 25 CR-V LX all-wheel drive for 0% up to 36 months. Talk to my man Rich. Get the right vehicle, the right deal at the right dealer. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270.
Best are us. When dreams don't get in, that's RS.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's RS. When dreams don't get in, that's RS.
Hey friends, Brandon Beam here, and when I dropped 70 pounds with Awaken 180, it felt like finally finishing a massive home renovation. You know, job done. Everything looks sharp, but it gets better, actually. I just had my first free monthly maintenance visit, and I found out I lost another 4.2 pounds without really even trying. It's like discovering an extra room in your house you never knew was even there. Awaken 180 isn't about meds or quick fixes. It's like learning exactly how to stock your fridge and pantry with all the right tools. I still eat plenty, still feel satisfied, and now making healthy choices is second nature. Like flipping the light switch on the first try in the dark. My body's firing on all cylinders, and I'm down 75 pounds without medications or hunger tricks. Just real education on eating smarter and feeling fantastic. Call Awaken 180 or visit awaken180weightloss.com. Trust me, once you learn the blueprint, your only regret is not calling them sooner. 844-346-1800. 844-346-1800.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It is going to be a mild day, but mostly cloudy to start with rain chances developing into the early afternoon. Highs in the mid to low 70s. Tonight down into the 60s with showers likely. And then for Tuesday, we will see mid 70s for the highs with rain chances continuing and also for isolated thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo for The Fan with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
True to his name, Matty Ice wears a winter coat in the middle of summer. He lives the gimmick, man. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, so we've had a good time with this. Everybody has, and good for Bill Belichick, right? He's happy. And I guess that's all that matters. He knows he's been publicly ridiculed. He knows he's been publicly accused of being controlled by his young, much younger girlfriend. And to his credit, it's not like he's just not leaving the house, right? He's outside. He's living his life.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know if it's his best life, but he's living it.
It kind of seems like this is his best life because this is Bill Belichick 2.0 like we've never seen the man before. Like he's out there doing yoga poses on the beach with like him on his back and his feet up and on whatever poses you do with yoga. Like he's feeling good. And look, to each his own. However you find happiness, I'm here for it. It's just odd to see this guy of all guys in this light this way because it seemed like he's always wanted to shy away from this type of attention.
Listen, I always thought that in that interview with CBS this morning that all he had to do was say what he said in the email afterward. We met on a plane. That's all he had to say.
Yeah.
Unless he knows it's a lie. And if he doesn't want to lie, okay. But when she interrupted the interview, it actually threw more gas on the fire.
We're not talking about that.
Just like, yeah, we're here to promote the book. I get it. But part of the attraction of this book is to sell it to people who don't like football. But I know it's a football book. It is. It's lessons he's learned in his life. Maybe it's more of a life coach book. And he doesn't want it angled towards, my, girlfriend of 50 years less or whatever she is. And so I understand why maybe she spoke up. And I defended her a little bit in that moment, and that maybe they felt wronged by the interview. Maybe there was a little bit of an agreement. I know CBS said there wasn't, but maybe there was an agreement that we're not going down that road of the relationship. But, that she's more of in this situation, she's my publicist, not my girlfriend. And when we're in a professional setting, it's professional. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. But when I saw a picture of him driving her away from the beauty pageant, it's so oddball now. She was in a Miss Maine USA pageant.
She's in this contest, is what you're telling me.
I'm assuming, I don't follow this very closely, but I'm assuming that each state has these competitions, and then the winner advances to Miss America, right? Each state will have a representative. Sure. And I guess if you win this, I'm assuming that then you become Miss Maine, which I guess, is she won Miss Maine before? Or maybe she's just...
What has she done at this point? Every time I hear something, her name pops up, it seems like the resume gets longer and longer. And it seems like her money's pretty long, too.
TLC, what county or area is she representing in Maine? Do you know this answer?
Ooh, I do not. Is this a trivia question?
It's not really a trivia question. It may just be an interesting question for you to look up and see. And then report on that to us if you might. So she came in second last year.
Yeah.
So didn't get all the way there. So she was the bridesmaid last year, and I guess finished, was it fourth? I also saw something weird that there was you could spend $1 and vote on this.
Really?
You couldn't buy the title, because you could buy it. Bill could have bought the championship for her.
With her money, too.
Or he could have just set up a Spygate situation to find out what the competition is up to over there.
He's in on cutting corners every once in a while.
If you ain't cheating,
but if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
This is, to see the picture, so I'll describe it. So he's in a suit and tie, just white shirt, kind of a Ron Burgundy tie, and just a navy suit, and she's holding hands with him as they're leaving. She's in full pageant dress, full pageant, with the sash and everything, just the whole thing, just strutting out of there. And so he was front row. The way that New York writes it, her famously grouchy boyfriend and her father. What? Oh, he sat next to her father, who's in his late 40s.
Wait, time out.
They both were there.
So Bill's 73.
Bill is there. Her father is there.
Okay.
He's in his late 40s. They sat together in the front row and were chatting, quote, between rounds. Maybe he was analyzing.
Yeah, helping him study.
And then it writes this. After his lover lost, Belichick was seen planting a peck on the cheek of last year's Miss Massachusetts 22-year-old Melissa Sapini when she greeted him in the crowd.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
Bill's getting busy out here. He's getting busy out here. I did see when I was gone, AR, the whole Pablo Torre thing, who I don't know if he still works for ESPN, did work for ESPN at the time, and he threw out the report that UNC has banned her from football facilities. UNC came out, pushed back on that, and then Pablo Torre said on Twitter, quote, "We broke the news of an important meeting where UNC higher-ups told the football program that Jordan Hudson can't be around the facility anymore. Many people around the team heard that message very clearly. You can decide who to trust in terms of how the PR spin goes from here." So it seems like Pablo Torre is kind of standing on business here and saying, what I reported, I believe to be true.
I believe it too. My theory on Friday was this, that they probably went to Belichick. One of two things happened. They went to Belichick and said, hey, this is a massive distraction. Let's just not have her come to the facility. right now. Yeah. Let's just end that part of it. Maybe we'll rethink it in the fall, and we'll just kind of navigate a way around it. So one of two things happened in my mind. He either said, no,
it's my lady.
She's coming.
This is
or two,
yeah,
the story got out. North Carolina didn't want it out. They wanted just a private agreement with Bill. Just don't bring her around.
Mm-hmm.
Just let's slow it down.
Yeah, slow down.
And then, so either he pushed back and forced Carolina to come out and say, no, we didn't say that. She's fine. She's welcome. We don't want to upset our head coach. Or it just got out and they just had to backpedal.
Pablo also, I guess, said from a family source, told this to Pablo Torre. Is it Torre or Torre? I feel bad if I'm getting his name wrong. But that quote, there is a deep worry for how detrimental Jordan can be for not just North Carolina, but Bill's legacy and reputation. Everything he has built and worked for over the decades. Apparently, that is a quote from a family source that Pablo Torre got.
Well, my other theory on why they want to kind of steer away from this whole we met on a plane is because people then start to do the math. So wait a minute. When did you meet? 2021? She was 19? Like, all we know today is that she's 24, 25. And if you really met in 2021, that means she's even younger than they previously reported.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean he was dating her when she was 19. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But I think that may be another reason why it just doesn't, not that this sounds wonderful. And listen, but him driving her back and forth to a beauty pageant is unreal. Sitting next to her father.
She got him doing a lot of different things I did not expect to see.
Who might be 30 years younger than him.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild when you think about it. If you're North Carolina, this isn't what you want. I don't care what they say. You brought this guy in to be the face of the football program.
The last thing you expect.
Correct. Like, you go from Mac Brown and he hands the keys to Bill Belichick and you're thinking, okay, like, we're doing some good things here. She is the face of North Carolina right now. To me, not Bill Belichick. It's Jordan Hudson, and that's not what they wanted.
By the way, I got the portion of Maine that she's representing.
Yeah,
Hancock.
I think I'm like a hard 6.
Yeah, you fell right into my trap, which was outstanding.
Welcome to AR's Trap House.
Well done. It is. You fell into the trap house and stole my goods. All right, we come back in 2 minutes. Keith Smith, Front Office Show. Are the Cavs indeed cooked? We'll ask him next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads. No. T-shirt cannon. I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter, he'll be there quick.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
dog friendly. And if you ain't down with that, this is Rothman and Ice.
All right, backs officially against the wall for the Cavs. Now we are allowed to say must win. Everybody just throws it out anyway when it's not truly a must win. This is our friend Keith Smith, who is with At Front Office Show, has some great insight on the NBA, and we come back with him. Keith, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Has this series gone any way you thought it would go?
Not even close. I picked before the series started. I picked Cleveland in 5. Did no disrespect meant to the Pacers. I just thought the Cavs were that much better, and the way they breezed through the first round, I thought they were ready to go. But clearly, the injuries have impacted them, and then just all the credit in the world to the Pacers. They played their game and really gotten it to be played the way they want to play all series long.
When you said the Pacers are getting them to play their game, like what are you seeing X and O wise, Keith, and why the Pacers have been able to have this amount of success so far?
Yeah, they're getting up and down the floor. That's the single biggest thing, right? That they are able to play it at the pace that they want. Tyrese Halliburton's at that level now where all the very best point guards get to, which is the game's going to be played at whatever pace I want it to at whatever moment I want. If it's time to run, we're going to run, and we're going to get up and down. If it is time to slow it down and pick out a matchup to attack, we're going to play that way. He's just, that good of a player where he's in full control of the game. And then beyond that, the Pacers are really doing a good job amping up the physicality, probably going a little over the line at times, if we're being honest, but that's, kind of where you live in the playoffs at times, and I don't think the Cavs have done a great job adjusting to it, other than, they should have won Game 2, and then Game 3, they came out and took care of business, but they then kind of went right back to that zone look. Indiana, now with some tape and my guess is a day of practice or so, was able to figure it out and then get it, get that solved. And now I'm not sure where the Cavs go from here.
I was listening to Barkley last night, and he was talking about how, if the Cavs can win Game 5, that the Pacers are going to just feel just an immense amount of pressure. But I want to get your feeling on that, because I liked them before the series. I think they're underrated. They have experience. They've done the playoff dance before. I like their coach. Where are you on them actually sealing the deal now that they have to? You can't be up 3-1 and lose a series. Doesn't happen very often. Where are you on their mental on if they have to face that, knowing they'd have to go back to Cleveland for a Game 7 if they would not seal it up? Where are you on that?
Yeah, I don't know that fully comes into play until you're deep into the game, and all of a sudden it's like, man, if we don't get this done, now we're going back to Cleveland. They'll have all the momentum and everything like that. So I do think that's a spot where it gets, a little weird. But Cavs fans know quite well, right? They've been in this spot before and came out on top with a title. And you do kind of know, all right, if we can get the next one, it does put some pressure on them a little bit to feel like they got to close it out. And then if we can get that one too, it's there. And it's, I'm not trying to pull out old coaching cliches here, but you can't win 2 tomorrow, right? You just win 1 and stay alive for another day and just kind of keep it going. So I think that's what the goal is going to be. But yeah, for the Pacers, I don't know. I don't know that they're going to feel nerves. I don't know that they're going to feel nervous at all going into the next game. I think they're just going to do what they do and just try to get this series closed out.
Let's fast forward in an unfortunate way and say the Cavs do get their series ended in the next game tomorrow night by Indiana. When you look at this core and this roster that they have, but specifically, Keith, the big four with, Allen and Garland and Mobley and Mitchell, is that something you would want to see again if you were running the show up in Cleveland, or would you try to tweak it? Because now we've got a few postseasons in a row, and I know injuries have played a factor in a couple of these, to where they haven't achieved what they wanted to achieve, especially with the regular season they had this year. But the core four, if their season is over tomorrow, looking ahead to the offseason, would you, if you were in charge, want to run it back with those guys, or would you try to flip those guys and maybe remix this thing a little bit?
Yeah, I think I more or less try to run it back, especially with those 4 guys. They're going to lose some players. That's just how it goes. I don't know that Ty Jerome is going to be somebody they're going to be able to keep unless there's some form of trade that frees up significant room. They don't have really, great rights to keep him as far as free agent rights go. So that's going to make it a little bit tougher. And they're just going to be in a tough spot unless they want to go that deep into the tax and start messing around with the aprons and the like to keep him. And then I think of the core four, I would at least listen to offers for Jarrett Allen. I don't know that I'm making the phone calls, but if someone asks, I think I'm probably going to, all right, let's see, what are you offering and see what it looks like, because you're not trading Donovan Mitchell. You're not going to trade Evan Mobley. And then Darius Garland, I think, has shown over the last couple of seasons, just how good and how important he is to the team. So I do think, Murray, maybe listen a little bit on, Allen and see what it looks like. But if there's not a good offer, you don't make a trade just to make a trade. Run it back, hope for better health in the playoffs next year, and go forward from there.
Keith, where are you on, Mitchell plays? And we're not going to, it's tough to play doctor here, right? We have to assume he's going to try to play. If he does play, I don't know how aggressive he's going to be in attacking. He may just pull up from deep, and it's not like that's been going that well. But just give me your sense on if this is truly going to be over tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you see how he's feeling when he gets to the arena tomorrow. If he's feeling like, all right, I can go, you give him a chance. And if it doesn't look like it's working, you pull the plug on it early. The last thing you need to do is take I'm going to call it relatively minor injury and turn it into something that bugs him all summer long, and he can't do his normal work in the summertime. And then next thing you know, now next season is starting off from behind with that. So you want to be very careful there. But if he's got it going, all right, yeah, let's, go with our guy and see what he can do to make it for us. And then I think overall, if you're the Cavs, you're going out there and you're just, all right, let's play our game. Let's play the way we played in game 2 and in game 3. We can do it. We can beat this team. And then from the Pacers side of things, I think you're going into that game with, hey, let's get them thinking about, we're taking a flight anyway. Do we want to fly back to Indiana, or do we want to fly to the beach and get summer vacation started? Try to jump on them early and get them out of it if you can.
One of the bigger stories outside of the postseason right now is a report that came from Shams Charania of ESPN this morning that Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Milwaukee Bucks may be open to playing elsewhere outside of Milwaukee. When you heard that report, what did you think? And do you have maybe a team or a couple teams that you think could be in the mix realistically when it comes to acquiring Giannis?
Yeah, to the first part of your question, I'm not really surprised. I think we all kind of saw this was coming a little bit. I think even Giannis has kind of, without openly saying it, without demanding trades, has been kind of setting the stage for this for a little bit now. He said a couple years ago, hey, I won a title here. I can't win another first championship here. I'd like to, win more titles. And if it can happen here, great. If not, then, we'll see where that goes. And I think he's just been kind of setting the stage for, hey, if this eventually gets to this point, this is where we go. And I think a lot of Bucks fans would realize, like, all right, yeah, we're pretty far away. We're not really close. Now, as far as teams, yeah, you start looking around the league. I mean, every 29 other teams are going to call and just say, hey, well, what would it take? But then we can eliminate a whole bunch of them. But I think teams like the Houston Rockets, could make a really compelling offer with young talent and a whole bunch of draft picks. I think the Brooklyn Nets are a team that have been rumored to have interest in Giannis for years now. And there was reports the other day that if he does leave Milwaukee, he's kind of intrigued by playing in a big market like New York or LA or Miami, one of those kind of glitz and glam type places. So, maybe that's the direction this goes. I don't know how either of the LA teams or the Knicks make an offer. So that kind of leaves the Nets. The Heat have kind of become Lakers East in all this, where they're always going to be involved and mentioned. But yeah, I think, if you're the Bucks, you'll work with Giannis, but you're not going to work with him to the extent of, well, we took a deal that was less than what we could have gotten, because your goal is, let's set this franchise up for the future, because it's going to take a while to rebuild from trading a guy like that.
Last one real quick. I know the NBA and NBC and Peacock are, getting together and going to have their product over there in the fall. And I know the NBC and Peacock tweeted out today that Michael Jordan is going to be a special contributor to the NBA on NBC and Peacock. What are your thoughts on that? What do you know about that and what the product's going to look like when we get to the fall that's including one of the GOATs?
Yeah, I don't know anything more than what they've released, and I started asking some people, and they were kind of in the same boat. What my guess is this is going to be something like, if we think about, before his passing, Kobe Bryant was doing some stuff with ESPN where he'd sit down with various players and kind of break down film and talk with them about, moments in their career and parts of games. My guess is it's probably going to be something like that. I don't think we're going to see MJ night to night on coverage. He's certainly not going to be calling games on the game broadcast. So I think you'll see him, show up when there's something to kind of get into it with maybe another great player, and have those conversations about what it's like, because I just don't see him being like Charles Barkley and he's out there every single night breaking down what he's seeing in those games. It just doesn't seem where he wants to be. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be great to have Michael Jordan back involved in whatever respect it is, because he's always been an interesting guy when you get him in front of a camera, because he doesn't hold back on his thoughts. He's always free to share whatever he wants to say.
All right, my man. Always appreciate when you hop on the show, Keith. Thanks, buddy. Enjoy the rest of the playoffs.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Keith Smith with us at Front Office Show on the Bryant Heat and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. At Bet365, they're saying for Game 5, the Cavs are winning it 76%.
Really?
That's massive.
It is.
In a closeout. Now, it is a closeout game at home, so you expect the old cliche. Leave it all on the floor. Right, you're going to get whatever their best is, you're going to get it.
Right.
The Donovan Mitchell effect, I think, is key. Now, this isn't like quarterbacks, but this is the best player on the floor. Like, he's that powerful. He's that good.
He is.
And so the question is, why would Vegas expose themselves to giving you Indiana and 8 points in a game that they truly want to win and end it, like he said?
Yeah.
So they don't even have to win it, and they can cover that spread. So that means they're telling you that Mitchell is, because you and I discussed this earlier, what if he doesn't play? What does that spread go to? Like, can they win it without him? Like, it seems like a pretty tall task.
I would agree.
And I always look to this like, why is this on the board like this?
And it's also one of those things we talked about last week. Even if he does play, what form of Donovan Mitchell do you get? He re-aggravated that ankle injury, and he's an explosive player.
Well, that's what I just said, is he's just going to hang out deep and try to launch.
Maybe.
But that hasn't gone that well.
No, not at all.
All right, we're going to come back with a Buckeye Bulletin and a legendary Buckeye attached to a very salacious headline. Details next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony. You know what the slogan is at the Good Feet store? Good feet, good life. Friends have asked me, how are my personally fit arch supports different from the inserts and insoles they can buy online or in department stores? There are big differences. My Good Feet arch supports are designed to provide me firm yet flexible function. What does that do? They actually help correct poor foot biomechanics, which leads to providing me long-term pain relief. I was also the guy who thought, well, if I buy good shoes, my feet won't hurt. It wasn't a bad thought. A lot of people think shoes are always the problem, when in reality, it's often the foot that goes into the shoe that's the real source of discomfort. When I got my personally fit Good Feet arch supports, my feet felt stabilized. The pain and discomfort went away. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people, just like me, discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Hiring today for tomorrow with WM. A stable career and a safe environment. That's what you get as a diesel mechanic at WM.
Plus great benefits like 100% tuition coverage for you and your family.
WM is now hiring heavy-duty mechanics in Columbus. Get boot and tool allowance and additional pay with a Cummins certification or CDL license.
There are openings for CDL truck drivers too, with home daily routes.
Apply online at careers.wm.com. That's careers.wm.com.
A people-first, military-friendly, equal opportunity employer.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
If my buttery smooth voice represents the photos in your social media feed,
And this is closer to what real life is like. Social media can be fun, but remember, it's only showing you
the filtered version of life. So when social media is stressing you out, check in on yourself and remember, it's not the whole story. For more tips on reducing your stress, go to mha.ohio.gov/check-in. A message from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services.
This promo is for anyone who likes baseball or America or Terry Francona's scooter. The Reds are on the Fan. Catch all 162 games here on the Fan and 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan's HD2. Your home for Reds baseball, the Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
There are very few people that would have a resume like this in sports. It's unheard of. And so Kyle Snyder, and you can go back and look at his history with Ohio State and when he came here and from Maryland and got a scholarship here and helped the Buckeyes win a NCAA championship as a true freshman and then beat a returning Olympic gold medalist and represented the 2015 world team and then became the youngest world champion in American wrestling history when you beat a reigning world champ. You are on it, and you are on a pathway to just an eliteness that is reserved for very, very few people. And then when he won the historic gold in Rio in 2016, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was unprecedented. The streak of winning wrestling's 3 most prestigious championships before he turned 21. And he beat the guy that was holding each title along the way. And so it's not like something broke for him the right way. And so when you read headlines like this, first of all, you feel like, okay, is it embarrassing? Of course it is. I don't know exactly what happened. I'm not going to guess. I'll tell you what is being alleged, that the former Buckeye and championship wrestler Kyle Snyder was arrested over the weekend during a prostitution sting in Columbus. Allegedly, he was one of 16 men that were arrested during the operation on, what is today? Today's the 12th, so on the 9th. And so it was aimed at this. It wasn't just kind of a luck thing or where it's more of this is what they were doing. And so they have alleged, the police have, that they received text messages and phone calls. They had it set up as an ad to presumably get these people. I'm not going to use the word entrap because I assume everything was done legally, but that a meeting was arranged. And so about 20 minutes later, they've identified him as one of the guys amongst the 16 that arrived at a hotel and was taken into custody at the scene. He was released. He's got to go back to court on the 19th. And so that's where it stands. It's never anything you thought you'd read. Mm-hmm. It's never anything that I don't know him personally. I know people that do. And so maybe it's not a shock to them, or maybe it is. I have no idea. But we'll follow this, and he is such a legendary sports figure here in Columbus. This is massive news. It's not something that I would ever talk about as a comedic event or something that I would be trying to get a cheap laugh out of. That's just not my style and not what I would want to do. But I think this is very newsworthy, and it's something to hopefully he'll either defend or get past or both.
Yeah, obviously a tough look for him because you laid out the accolades and just how much of a beast he was down there on the mat, and not only how he represented Ohio State, but how he represented the country, right, in the Olympics as well. And so this will unfortunately be, attached to his name, and the legal system will, play itself out, and hopefully Kyle can come out better on the other side.
All right, we move along. And I do think we talked about JT Tuimoloau last week, and we talked about him maybe being a really sleeper pick, even though I guess we can call a second round a sleeper. I probably can't. But I think that he was one of those guys that was such a, I'll use your word, a beast here at Ohio State, especially in the Penn State game, but I think somehow he kind of maybe left a little bit out there.
Well, when you have that game
that
you mentioned, you set the standard a little bit, whether that's fair or not. That was a historic individual game for him, but once you give him a little taste of that, then people are like, okay, we're not expecting that from you every week, but let's not, have the peaks and valleys the way it felt like he had sometimes. But overall, big picture, he was a very good player, and obviously the league thought that of him as well, with him getting drafted in the second round.
Chris Ballard, the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts, I think head coach Shane Steichen was also on this call. I've not heard it, so I'll look forward to listening to it with you.
JT.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, this is Chris Ballard with the Indianapolis Colts. Welcome to Indy, man. We're going to take you right here.
Man, let's do it, man. Damn, man.
No, I'm excited to get. We're really excited to get you, man. I actually had a long talk with your head coach today, and he was just singing your praises, which didn't surprise me.
Man, y'all gonna get my all, bro.
I know you will.
That, man.
I know you will. Well, hold on. Here's Coach Steichen here.
Yep.
JT, man, congrats.
Man, appreciate you, Coach.
Yeah, we're fired up for you, man. We're super excited. You're a hell of a player, man. You're going to bring a lot to the room, a lot to this football team. Love the way you play. Love the way you play.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Who you with? Whole crew, family?
Man, countless family, bro.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
I mean, love those, right? Because you can just hear the joy in JT's voice right there that I've achieved my dream. Like, there's still work to be done, but in that moment, like when you're a kid, you dream about that, and then it all starts to come together, right? You realize junior high, high school, I'm good enough to possibly play in the NFL one day. Then you got 24/7 sports ranking you the number one overall prospect in your class, attach yourself to one of the most prestigious programs in the sport, and then you get that call, and you can just hear it in his voice. So just really happy for any guys that get to experience that, because it fills them with joy, as it should.
Maddie, when you and I called Cole.
You beat me to the joke, damn it.
Well, maybe it's just great minds.
Great minds think alike, baby. Come on.
I got a job.
I was about to say, that sounded a lot like Rothman's call that I...
Yeah. So
Fish called me and then put Rothman on the phone.
And you know what? I feel like I hope people out there can relate to that, no matter what level. He knew he was going to get a chance to play in the NFL, so it wasn't a complete shock. But I agree with you. He got a call from an NFL GM and a head coach that said, you got a job.
Made it, kid.
We want you to play for us. And if you've ever been a part of that, maybe you've interviewed for a job out there, or if there's something you've wanted, maybe not like career, like that big, but something that meant something to you. Everybody remembers those people, those times. I was working in Rockford, Illinois, outside Chicago, and I get a call from Channel 6 sports director Rodney Triplett and news director Mike Hevel, who I feel indebted to for my entire career. Never really wanted to leave after that happened. But when they said, hey, we want you here, and you knew maybe you'd get a job or another one, right. But when you heard that I don't know how you can't, that doesn't pull on the heartstrings. So rooting for that kid. I think he's got a lot to prove, but he passes the look test. He's physical and all that, and he's ready to go for the Colts. That's today's Buckeye Bulletin. All right, we'll come back, top of the hour, deep dive. Maddie, I know I called minicamp overrated, but apparently one guy stood out amongst all the rest. Okay. You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores, so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 6-packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Don't sweat it. Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your air conditioner fast. 1-800-COOLING.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio is your Medicaid plan for more benefits, more rewards. We know that good health means more than just seeing a doctor when you're sick. Eligible members can receive extras like home-delivered meals and family essentials, like baby carriers and kids' school supplies. Members can even earn rewards for playing mobile health trivia games. Learn more at AmeriHealthCaritasoh.com and call the Ohio Medicaid Consumer Hotline at 1-800-324-8680 to choose AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio.
Are you experiencing knee pain? Is something as simple as walking up and down the stairs painful? Well, I found the answer to your pain. Hey, it's Tyvis Powell. What Columbus Medical Director Dr. Aaron Walkoff and his team are doing is nothing short of remarkable. They are using regenerative cell therapy to restore the tissue in your achy joints. These are biologic growth factors with robust healing properties, carefully and strategically placed in your joints. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life, repairing old tissues. Best part with QC Kinetics, there are no drugs, there's no surgeries involved, and there's no downtime. This is an all-natural cellular level option with lasting relief. The patient's satisfaction reports are astonishing. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call QC Kinetics now and learn about these cutting-edge treatment that can help you live your best life. The consultation is free. New locations in Grove City and Canal Winchester. 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
Forever starts with the perfect diamond. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from The Diamond Cellar, and for over 78 years, our family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds and better prices are our promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts. Because diamonds, they're our forte. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes. This week's honoree is Stuart McGinn, a 12-year patrol veteran of the Columbus Police Department who's seen the toll that high-stress work takes on first responders. Inspired by CPD's Therapy Dog Unit, Stu found a way to give back by training his rescue dog, Albie, to become a certified therapy dog. Together, they volunteer at Ohio Health, offering comfort to frontline healthcare workers, one tail wag and smile at a time.
Summer's just around the corner. Are you ready to hit the road in style? At Germain Toyota, the adventure starts now with the 2025 Toyota Tundra. Rugged, reliable, and built to take on anything summer throws your way. Drive off in a new Tundra with 1.99 APR for 48 months. That's right, low financing, high performance, and a season full of possibilities. Hurry into Germain Toyota. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or online at germaintoyota.net. 1.99 APR for 48 months with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Are you ready for the NFL season? The schedule release is coming, and we know the best place to get your tickets this year. My friends at Vivid Seats. They're seriously legit, and you earn rewards on every purchase. That's basically free football games. When that schedule hits, don't wait around. For the best selection and all the great deals, head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in your game days now.
Get a taste of that winning feeling before the buzzer sounds with ESPN Bet's early victory promo. Simply place a pregame moneyline bet on any NBA playoff game, and if the team you bet goes up by 20 or more points at any point in the game, your bet will get paid out early. Available throughout the NBA playoffs at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. The NFL season is set to kick off Thursday night, September 4th. We now know the matchup that night. It'll be the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys. After getting shut out by the Philadelphia Phillies yesterday, the Cleveland Guardians starting a series with the Milwaukee Brewers tonight up at Progressive Field. Ben Lively gets the ball for Cleveland opposite Freddie Peralta, 6:10 first pitch. The Reds, they have an off day today before starting a home series with the White Sox tomorrow. NBA playoffs this evening. The Boston Celtics looking to even up their series with the Knicks at 2 games apiece in New York. 7:30 tip tonight in the Garden. And the Golden State Warriors hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves at 10. Minnesota up 2-1 in that series. This one brought to you by BMI Federal Credit Union. Take advantage of the BMI FCU Auto Refinance Summer Savings Event. Earn a $400 cash bonus when you bring in your auto loan.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, final hour of the program. Jeff Lloyd, Orange and Brown Report, 2:30. So we'll get to a little bit of that before we hit Jeff. This kid's going to be so polarizing. And the Browns may be able to just right every wrong if they stole this dude in the 5th round and he turns out to be what some experts felt like was a top 2 quarterback in the draft. Maybe even number 1.
One of my friends who is a Browns fan, he hit me up and said, Matty, you know how this is going to work. We're the Browns. We're missing on both guys, Gabriel and Shador. He said, what is the history of this league and this team shown you to believe that they're going to be able to identify anything good, especially at that position? And I said, I don't know. Give him a chance. They're swinging twice.
Yeah. He's been roasted up to this point. You can't be that kid and slide and not get roasted. He has been. Some of the NFL scouts were saying, why he plummeted.
Put a name on it. Scouts. Well, that stuff drives me nuts.
I don't know if it would even matter if we gave you a name of a scout.
To me. It mattered to me. If you want to come out swinging strong and dunking on guys, put your name on it. If you believe that strongly, that he's not this and he's not that.
Well, I don't know if it's that where it was just dunking on him. I'm just giving you kind of maybe a synopsis of what's positive and negative.
I'm just saying, the anonymous quote, Shador not, like in sports, I can't stand. Where you hide behind a quote that's diminishing someone because you know that your name won't be attached to it. I'm just not a fan of that.
Well, yeah, and it's tough. When you're active in the league, if you're believable, but there are a lot of bias and tendencies.
It's just, it's so easy to do that. If you had to put your name on it, you're not. I don't think a lot of these guys would come close to saying some of the things that they say.
No, but it doesn't make them wrong, though. Doesn't mean I'm not wrong.
I'm saying wrong or not, stand on what you truly believe out in front.
Yeah, I guess I come from the journalistic side of sources and things like that, and trying to get the real story without putting the source in a horrible spot for their job or this or that. And you have to believe the source. That's why you have to kind of get to and all that. It's tough. And listen, if his ceiling is Baker Mayfield, it's not the worst thing ever.
You'll take that,
right?
Tampa's living good with Baker right now.
So we're kind of it's kind of all over the place with him. There were a lot of experts that were surprised. There were a lot of people then when he started to slide that weren't surprised. And I think what put it over the top was the anonymous stuff from the interviews. This is kind of an insane quote from an anonymous team personnel person that supposedly sat in an interview with Shedeur Sanders. Take it for what it's worth. He says, imagine Terrell Owens, his dad, Chad Johnson, and Jim McMahon multiplied by 10,000.
See, that's garbage to me.
Yeah,
that's garbage to me.
You don't know.
I'm at the point, I don't even care about, I don't even want to hear anything about interviews anymore. Doesn't matter.
Or his headphones around his neck with music playing throughout the entire interview and brought his entire entourage to the building. Okay, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But anyway, that's...
Freddie Quinn said he heard that.
That he did.
The headphones part, at least.
He did. So
have you ever heard the Bob Knight rant on anonymous sources?
No, I would love to hear
What do you mean the Bob Knight rant?
I'm warning you, it's a little bit 3 to 6-ish, but it's...
What do you mean anonymous sources?
Oh.
You mean the recording?
No. He had a rant in front of the media. He was in a press conference.
Yeah.
And he was scolding the media for releasing some leaks via anonymous sources.
Yeah.
It's a little bit 3 to 6-ish, but it's hilarious.
I've heard everything with Knight. Obviously, I lived it, and I
gotta find this. I'll have to listen to this when we get done.
If you really want to see anything on Knight, this is what I recommend. I recommend it sometime when you have some time to Google the golf lessons that he did.
I remember when you showed me that the first time.
Have you seen those?
It's so good.
No.
When you have time, not now while you're on the clock getting paid. Just Google when he was part of being paid to be the student in golf lessons with a pro. And it was sponsored by like Pizza Hut. And it was the outtakes of him wanting to be good at golf and not wanting to be seen in kind of a weird light in golf is unbelievable. They're that good. But back to Shedeur. So he threw some pretty good passes at minicamp. I guess, and we'll hear it from a guy who's top 25 rushing all time, and LaShawn McCoy.
Shady.
He's on FS1, Fox Sports.
Yeah, their show is The Locker Room.
Okay.
Yeah, that's changed a couple times. The name.
Am I correct? The facility.
The facility. Yeah, it's changed a few times.
Big difference.
Now there have been some reporters that are saying that Shedeur looked more than the part, and that he is almost kind of the guy to beat.
I got my sources. I don't know what y'all got. I got my sources. Shady sources. And they told me, right? And I know you guys, well, some of y'all don't think that minicamp is that important, but they told me that he looks like the best player out of the whole camp. 5th rounder, right? Yeah. And I was always taught, I don't care if it's minicamp, facts, real camp, fake camp, high camp, low camp, Boy Scout camp. Be the best at everything you do. That's how I was raised. 100%. And if you look at Shedeur Sanders, his mindset ain't to be in no backup role with these dudes. He's in there to start. He looks way more focused. Yeah. But even the focus part, he looks like himself though. And the thing is, ain't nothing changed about Shedeur. Just that you really can't see the change in the interview because he's playing football right now. That's the only difference is he's the same dude. All his teammates always say he's a great teammate. If you look at the reports of his players in camp, they saying the same thing about him. Yeah. And the biggest part why he will start early this year is because you in a room full of dudes that would struggle to start on any other team. Imagine having Joe Flacco as your starting quarterback. Where y'all going? What y'all doing? Who happy about that? Okay? Kenny Pickett. I love Kenny Pickett. But in his years, he's been struggling. I mean, that's just what it is. He had a game or two with the Eagles that did well. Other he's struggling. They said right now today, Dylan and him, they ain't in the same class. Yeah. Right? And then when a real camp start, I got Shedeur starting over him. That's how bad it looks like that in minicamp right now. So when you ask me who's going to start, it's like, yeah, he's going to start. Maybe not week 1, but you're going against guys that's not really starters. Yeah. So now my question to y'all is, if it's a room full of backups, who's going to be the starter? Mm-hmm. Choose the baller. Come on now. Let's stop playing around with this thing.
Very interesting that he feels that Shedor's head's above the rest. I don't know if they ever got to my question from a couple weeks ago, which is, why did they draft Dillon over Shedor? What was it? Had to be something. They got them both now, so they don't have to really answer the question.
Yeah.
Now they can let them battle it out. If Shedor wasn't there, then they could ask the question all day long. Shedor was available. You didn't take him. Why not? So they have them both, and here we go. We know one thing is official. The Deshaun Watson era is over, and now they're trying to find a future quarterback. So they're carrying 4 quarterbacks on an active roster come week 1, I doubt.
I don't think that's happening, yeah.
Right. So they're probably opened with 2 or 3 on the 53-man roster, and I don't think just rostering 2.
No, you can't do that every week.
That's not happening.
You're a dead team walking if that happens.
So let's rule that out.
Yeah.
So they reshaped this entire room now, and they traded DTR and a 5th rounder to get Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
You heard Shady say that he thinks he's okay, that's an immediate upgrade as a backup, that they've upgraded their backup.
Yes.
They didn't trade for Kenny Pickett necessarily to be the guy.
I would be surprised if that happens. I think at some point in time, between Dillon and Shedor, you want to see those guys with a runway of games as your starter, because the bottom line is you want to go into the offseason with answers as far as what you need to do at next year's draft, because you acquired that extra first-round pick from Jacksonville, and you need to know definitively whether both guys, one of those guys, none of those guys are your future. And so I don't know how they're going to figure that out. That's why what they did at the draft is a major head-scratcher for me. But Kenny Pickett, Flacco, to Shady McCoy's point is we kind of know what they are. We kind of know what they are. Those guys need to be safety nets for one of Dillon or Shedor this year. And so I would like to see that for the Browns is 2-3 games in a row, whatever it is, give it to Shedor, give it to Dillon, and have those guys showcase to you and the league what they can be, because they could either become a trade asset, or what you really want is for one of those guys to be your quarterback of the future, and then you'll have 2 first-round picks next year to go best player available and fill out your roster.
Of course they're playing. Shedor is going to get a chance to play. You didn't draft him to not see what he's going to be.
Yeah.
And I do think they really want him on the team. It just, the one thing I always found interesting was they apparently like Dylan Gabriel 50 picks better. And that's reality. They re-signed Joe Flacco because they're in the business of playing football. And to do that, you need a quarterback that's competent, that's been around the NFL. And it's been there. So they feel like they've got a head start there. That lets Stefanski and Barry sleep at night. If we had to play a game tomorrow, we have a competent quarterback we can roll out there, even if he's 41. So, but they did surprise a lot of people in the draft. You took Dylan Gabriel at 94. You took Shedor at 144. That's a sizable difference when it comes to the NFL. So
just weird.
And I also like the fact, and I pointed this out right after the draft, the best thing besides getting Shedor as maybe the talent is you got him off being humbled. So you got him with something to prove. Not that he wouldn't have tried to prove it if he was drafted 2, but he would have come into the league differently in my mind. He would have come into the league with massive expectations. I think that while he has expectations, Maddie, they've lowered. Now he's almost the let me prove people wrong guy
for him
instead of proving everybody right.
For him individually, I think that'll be the case, but I still think when he gets out there and plays because of that last name on his back, that people are going to have, I think, maybe unrealistic expectations for him.
That's very possible. And that's why maybe if they bring him along slowly and you kind of make sure he's ready.
They're going to do that. I really don't.
Well, you do it because you got Flacco, and this may not be the year.
But I'm saying, when we get into the season, how do you that plan? I can't wait to hear from Stefanski, his plan for the quarterbacks and finding out what you really have from Gabriel and Sanders in games that actually matter. Because that's what has to be done. You have to have that happen in this regular season, not the preseason, not joint practices. When the real games come around, you got to see how these guys handle the smoke.
The iconic journey continues. We'll tell you that in pre-snap. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Visit shelterinsurance.com to find an agent to help you pick a policy that's right for you. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And Bet and Reduce Juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Everybody poops. Everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, and AI? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Most radio stations suck. Here's why. They don't invest in local programming. We're live and local 14 hours a day. You can rest assured that every stupid thing we say is 100% local. Homegrown dumb since day one. The Fan.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It is going to be a mild day, but mostly cloudy to start with rain chances developing into the early afternoon. Highs in the mid to low 70s. Tonight down into the 60s with showers likely. And then for Tuesday, we will see mid 70s for the highs with rain chances continuing and also for isolated thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo for The Fan with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Snap Leads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Bet365 time.
Let's do it because at Bet365, ladies and gentlemen, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. If you are a new customer looking for a new sports book, get on over to Bet365 because they have a great new sign-up offer where you bet $5, you will get $150 in bonus bets whether your bet wins or loses. So check out their amazing website or download the Bet365 app today. We got Celtics and Knicks game 4 tonight in the Garden. Celtics woke up, AR. They said, we ain't stopping the three-point raining. We're going to keep shooting and shooting, and they locked in. Tatum, Brown, the whole gang. I'm looking at Peyton Pritchard tonight, the 6th man of the year in the NBA. He was 5 of 10 from deep the other day. I like his number right now at 3 3-pointers made at plus 125. He usually plays anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes, so he gets his shots up with that second unit. Give me Peyton Pritchard, the former Oregon Duck, at plus 125 to make 3 balls tonight in the Garden.
So I'm looking at trying to see if I want to listen. When you asked me about over-under, when the loose cannon dropped the over-unders on us,
yeah,
I think his over-under was what's Friday? Was the Cavs winning 2.5? I think was it.
I put 2.5 on the Cavs and the Celtics.
But what was it even before the series when Maddie and I did it? You asked me if the Pacers were going to win 2 games in the series. I think
maybe.
Yeah. So I feel like I've already won that bet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll ask you guys this. You have to pick. I'm going to give you 2 guys. I mean, Rory has owned Quail Hollow. And I know he's, working his way back from the Masters and all that, and he's got to be kind of freed up. But if I said you could only have one guy, Scheffler or McIlroy, at the PGA, who would you take?
It feels like the year of Rory right now, doesn't it?
I think I'd rather be attached to Rory at that place.
Yeah.
Why not? So if I take the Cavs to win the series, trust me, this isn't. Listen, I already told you I thought the Pacers had a great chance to win the series and hit your over on
that. Dan Gilbert tweet got you believing.
That MRI is everything.
It wasn't Gilbert. It was myself believing that if Mitchell plays and is effective, this is the softest 3-1 lead you'll ever have. It really is.
See, I don't see it that way. I think they're absolutely cooked. Winning this game or not.
Absolutely cooked.
They're cooked.
All right, well, you think they're losing Game 5 tomorrow?
The series is done. Regardless if they win or not, they're not going
now,
to
you think you'll feel that way if they win Game 5?
I will.
Ooh, I don't know. Closeout games are different. Especially, when you have to close it out, knowing that if you don't, the series is pretty much over. Not that
you
Indiana
think this is coming back to Cleveland for a 7th game?
No, I just don't think it's going to be easy. It doesn't feel like it's going to be. Everyone's talking about how they're done. They've mailed it in. I don't
think they've mailed it in.
Cancun on 3, like it's over.
I just think the injury bug is too much to overcome at this point.
That's what I told you in the beginning of the show, that's what got me to not make this bet.
Yeah.
But if I did make it, hypothetically, the Cavs winning the series and Rory to win the PGA is 19-1. I think that's decent value. I don't think that's a horrible deal to take, 20 soft-earned dollars to make almost $400.
When you make the money you make, there's no issue flushing money down the toilet.
You're right. I could probably put more on it than that.
$200 on it.
$200?
For people that are curious. Go ahead.
So $200 on that is almost $3,900. Now, the beauty of this would be, when would this series end if it goes 7? When's Game 7?
I'll tell you right now. I want to say that would be Thursday.
Well, Game 5 would be tomorrow.
It would
Tuesday.
be Sunday, AR. Game 7 would be Sunday.
Guess what? Guess when the PGA Championship ends?
Sunday.
On Sunday.
There you go.
You could hit the daily double.
I love your optimism.
What time would the game be on Sunday?
It's TBD right now.
You're going to be sick when Rory wins and the Cavs lose in 5.
That's true. Well, why don't I just bet it? Well, I wouldn't get the odds if I bet the Pacers. You know when if you like
See,
the
no,
pace,
you
hang
can't
on.
think like that,
No,
Rothman.
if
you can't lose money but say, oh, but it was great odds. Well, you lose the money, then those odds don't matter.
Yeah, I believe in low risk, high reward. I believe in bleeding out my account rather than just one.
TLC, this is what got them.
Here's the
Cavs fans. Yes, it was an ugly one, but we've been here before. It's time to get 3 in a row, baby. 2 of them coming at home. Let's start with Game 5 on Tuesday. #BelieveLand.
You can't say, let's get 3 in a row, and then in the next sentence say, let's start with Tuesday. How about just say, let's start with Tuesday, and leave the 3 in a row out of it?
I'm surprised you're really making this bet. I'm surprised. I really am. Like, I think...
Here's what I'll tell you.
Yeah.
If I'm going to bet the Pacers to win the series, I would never do it now.
No,
I would wait for the Cavs to win Game 5, maybe get a little better value on Indiana going into Game 6, and then call it a day, and then maybe have both sides covered. I could do this. I could have both guys. I could have Scheffler, and I could bet it all ways.
For those curious,
Rory in the Cavs,
quick,
Scheffler in the Pacers.
You mentioned the PGA Championship. Scotty and Rory, the favorites on the board, both at plus 450 right now.
It doesn't sound great.
Really doesn't.
But I like 19-1.
Okay.
So
sounds good. You know what else I like is Bet365, because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
I just got a text from one of the homies that said, I want whatever AR's on. Play the Where the Weed At clip.
Where the weed at? I'm not betting 200 on it. I'm slow, but not that slow.
What are you betting on it?
He said 20.
I think 20.
Little 20 piece on it.
For 3,900? Now, the hardest part is obviously getting the golf.
You're not even waiting for the Mitchell report.
Actually, I'm wrong. I said that wrong. By the way, I said that wrong. Rory's got a better chance of winning the PGA than the Cavs do of winning the series.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know. I think they're equal.
I need you to give the speech tomorrow to the Cavs. I think you would deliver a banger of a pregame speech to these boys. Like, hey, I put $20 on you. You guys better hold it down for me. 20 for 3,900.
Don't embarrass me on the radio.
Don't let me down.
It's not the amount of money. It's the belief that that this 3-1 lead is not as big as it sounds. It will be if Mitchell doesn't play. I'm 100% with you on that. Even if he plays, he may not be effective. That's why I told you I rode the roller coaster last night. I came out of that game thinking everyone says it's over and we'll see what the Cavs are made of. And then when I heard the MRI on Mitchell, I was like, all right, forget it. I'm not touching this. Mm-hmm. And then today I've kind of come back to earth a little bit, and let's wait.
Okay.
You said that we talked about him.
Re-aggravated it. Shams reported today. He re-aggravated that ankle.
Take either Denver or OKC. That's a 2-2 series.
He walked out without a boot. We had visual evidence. He can walk. And if he can walk, he can play.
Stephen A.
Stephen A. All right, that's it.
#BelieveLand, sponsored by Anthony Rothman.
That's right. We all hold hands together and pray for them to win. It might happen. All right, Jeff Lloyd is coming back in 2 minutes, and he's from the Orange and Brown Report. Who wins this QB battle between Gabriel and Shedeur? It sounds like the heavy lean is in already. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
From the hardwood to the warehouse, performance matters. That's why Caster Connection, proudly based in Columbus and trusted nationwide, delivers industrial caster and wheel solutions to keep operations rolling smoothly. With an unrivaled online inventory and the best consultative experts in the industry, we'll help you find the right caster for any job. Shop now at casterconnection.com and save 10% on online orders with promo code ROLL10. Not a retail location.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Deal
Dealin' Days are back at Lindsay Honda. Lock in your deal in May. Save thousands on hundreds of new Hondas. Simply pick your new 2025 Honda and enjoy 0% for up to 60 months. Yes, 0% for up to 60 months on all new 2025 Hondas, including HRV, Pilot, and Ridgeline.
Cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Lindsay's got it, and you're gonna save.
See you, Lindsay Honda, during Dealin' Days.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
No one funks up the work microwave like these two. Fish again? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right. Mini camp is underway. One quarterback's dotting up receivers.
Got them Dylan Dogs and them Shador Soldiers out there.
Let me tell you my favorite tweet of the day. And it's one word. So there was ESPN Cleveland had tweeted out that the Browns quarterback competition has divided the fan base. And our guy Jeff Lloyd of the Orange and Brown Report quote tweets it and writes, so? And I absolutely love it. Jeff, good to have you, my man. How you feeling?
We doing good, boys. We're doing really good. Let me tell you something here. Now, this is an organization that had to de-stink, and I think we all know what the smell was, off of this franchise, especially at the quarterback position. And you know what? For 3 years, whether he was playing or not, it was always a topic of discussion. Guess what is one person we are no longer speaking about? So if you're telling me I'm going to have a conversation about the 3rd round draft choice, the 5th round draft choice, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, you know what? I'll have those conversations each and every day, all day long. It's a new day.
Jeff, did they ever even approach answering the question why they picked Dylan Gabriel 50 picks ahead of Shador? Obviously, Shador was available, so they liked Dylan more than him. Have they talked about that angle of it, or do they not have to because they're both there?
They didn't really, and I think it was just players, that they liked. I think part of it is when you get into day 5, and day 3, and you know what the Browns have talked about this in the past about how many players are realistically on a board. And at the time, Cleveland still had, I think it was 166 and 192 on the board. And, as we're covering it, we're streaming it, we're trying to, maybe this wide receiver. I think it just came down to, and nobody wants to draft somebody and then release him in August. Don't waste a draft pick. If anything, trade the draft pick, trade it to the following year, and reevaluate and see where you're at then. I think what they said is, look, out of what's available and what's left here on day 3, our safest, most sure bet of somebody that we think can make this roster is Shador Sanders. And, they knew they were going to be bringing in 2 rookie quarterbacks. And certainly, it's going to be a house divided. How wouldn't it be? You have 2 guys from the same class. Both have played an extreme amount of college football. It's not like one was the 24-year-old and one was the 21-year-old who only played 1 season. They knew what they were getting into. But you know what? This is good conversation. And I think it helps even more that certainly both guys probably, looked pretty good, in the short amount of time that they were, on the field this weekend. I think it was just more for them. And maybe ideally the way the veteran part of this room didn't work out necessarily the way they were maybe hoping it would. But this is where they're at now. And look, you have these 2 young guys who can battle it out this year. And, Andrew Berry, I think everybody misconfused it when, somebody asked him about the quarterback room, and he said, we tend to think the quarterback room is going to skew young. No, and he answered that, and nobody ever said, well, do you mean now? Do you mean 6 months from now? Do you mean a year from now? Well, a year from now, this quarterback room could consist of Gabriel, Sanders, and most likely a rookie, which means, the room would definitely skew to the younger side.
Jeff, I want to ask you about how you think they can find the answers to this test, meaning Gabriel, Shedeur, when we get to the regular season, and how you find out what these guys really have, because that's what I'm curious to see, right? We'll get some decent information throughout training camp, but as you know, like the real answers come when the real stuff happens on the fly against the best in the league. When you look at that quarterback room, how do you think they should approach finding out whether or not these guys have what it takes to play at this level?
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting, and I think it starts as early as this week, and I think it's, 2 weeks from now is when they actually have full guys in the building, full team, full personnel. And the way you look at it, if you're going to play Joe Flacco at all, you're really not going to do a lot with Joe in the spring. You're certainly not going to do a lot with Joe in the summer. I doubt he's going to play any preseason games, because if you think he looks the best, the last thing you want to do at 40 years old is have Joe, basically wasting throws. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be limited, and even we all believe if he starts week 1, what are the odds he's actually going to give you 17 weeks? That's probably a huge thing to ask of a guy who's going to be 40 and a half years old. So I think, you're just going to slowly amp it up a little bit. They talked about they wanted to add more receivers because they wanted to do more competitive stuff with the rookies. And that's why, signed, I guess it was, 3 rookies, wide receivers to this point. So they have more bodies in the room. It certainly helps that these guys already have a little bit of a rapport with Gabriel and Sanders, because, when you first start this, these are going to be the guys that Sanders and Gabriel are repping with. It'll be a little while before they get the Jerry Jeudy reps. There won't be a lot of them, certainly. So you want to start going that route. And look, if they take and accept coaching and they take, obviously critiques and able to show in the next day or two that they took the criticism and they're already using it to their advantage, it's not like either one of these guys, again, they're older quarterbacks, they're older college quarterbacks. They've played a ton of experience, so it's not stunning if these guys go out there and somewhat perform well. I honestly believe, the Browns are going to have the decision to make and, come end of August, and it's going to be to move on from one of the veterans. And, my guess is it's probably going to be easier to move on from Kenny than it would be Joe, because I think Joe, a lot of why Joe Flacco chose Cleveland, a lot of why he chose Indianapolis last year was he doesn't necessarily want to uproot his family. So if he can get back home within a 3-hour flight, it's a little more difficult to move on from Joe Flacco. But, we'll see. And look, these kids, it wouldn't stun me. And I'm probably to the point now where I'm in the firm belief of between Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And I'm not saying which one's going to start more, but they will start the majority of the games for the Browns in 2025.
Makes sense. And Jeff, I was also kind of, you got to read into the fact that they didn't pick up Pickett's 5th-year option, correct? So he would be, so that kind of tells me a little bit of what I need to know, unless, somehow he plays this year and he plays well, and then maybe they'd rethink it. But I'm with you. So you're thinking, so it's Flacco, Dylan, and Shedeur if that goes down that way. Let me ask you this. How much interaction are we seeing between Dylan and Shedeur right now?
It doesn't seem like there's much. And I'll be honest, I don't think there's anything to it. There's a lot going on here right now for both of them, obviously. New city, new team. And look, if you're Dylan Gabriel, who's played 6 years of college football, you believe you have a puncher's chance just as good as anybody, to get this job. If you're Shedeur Sanders, hey, I don't care. Yes, I was drafted in the 5th round, but I was not a 5th-round prospect. And, of being wired with the Sanders mentality, I don't think Shedeur Sanders was in here like, all right, well, what's the nicest baseball hat you have? Because that's what I'm looking for, because that's what I'm going to be wearing majority of the time. These guys believe they can play in this league. And I don't think it's anything where they either one of them have anything against each other. And I think Dylan Gabriel had a great answer to that question. I guess it was Saturday or whatever. Let's not ask questions like that, because that starts dividing a locker room. And look, there'll be plenty of time where they're in meetings together. There will be times where they're dissecting tape together. And, whatever bond becomes between the two of them, will slowly start to happen that way. But both of these guys feel that they're here and have the opportunity, in a weird scenario, because in what world would we ever talk about, A, a team taking a quarterback in the 3rd round and also in the 5th round. Maybe if you took one in the 1st, you took one in the 5th, and you kind of just established, hey, here is the order. But between 94 and 144, and you factor in Shedor's drop and realize that 144 probably isn't a legit number, there's not much difference really between the two of them as far as, how they came in and what opportunities, they're going to get. Dylan Gabriel can move around a little bit better. Through a couple of practices, it looks like Shedor's had the upper hand as far as throwing the ball. There's a long way to go. And of course, this is what everybody does here, whether it's the media, whether it's the fan base. You give it 5 minutes, you plant your flag, and you're never leaving it. You know what I'm saying? But this is an exciting time right now. And, you have to factor in the 2 first-round picks that you're going to have in 2026. So you have all the opportunity to give these guys a good run here this year. And, basically even tell them, say, look, you see we got 2 first-round picks next year. Odds could be really good we could spend one of those on a quarterback. But, and you tell either one of them, or both of them, hey, give us a chance to not have to go that direction.
Yeah. Well done, my man. Always appreciate you. We'll be ringing you back soon. Take care.
Always a pleasure, boys. Have yourself a great day.
You too. That's our friend Jeff Lloyd from the Orange and Brown Report, covering the Brownies up there in Cleveland. He was on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, guys, I'm talking to you. Summer's coming. You get time with family, friends, activities, holidays. You want to be at your best. You've got to keep up, and maybe you're not feeling your best, and I want you to check out the Low T Center. Get your numbers. Find out where you land on that scale. Find out if this is exactly what you've been looking for that would help you get back to feeling awesome again. Testosterone replacement therapy at Low T Center. Get the free consultation. Get the free test. They'll personalize a treatment to your body and your wants and needs. Most major insurance is accepted. You can choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. You are in control of your health with the experts at Low T Center. More than a decade. You can trust them. If you're looking to lose weight, it's one-stop shopping. Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. The offer is limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com. Fixmylowt.com. Get back to feeling your best. We'll come back. We'll tell the truth, and we have a commitment for Ohio State in the 26th class. We'll tell you all about him next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic. Oh, yes. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy Hatcher, a former professional baseball player, and I'm a patient at Tri-State Men's Health. Before I started the treatment, it was like my body was sore all the time, and I was feeling very, very sluggish. One day, I would be full of energy, and the next day was like, where did all my energy go? And since I've started, my body hasn't felt this good in a long time. I feel like, I'm not 21 to 25 again. It's just been great. I feel very, very comfortable coming here. When you have the energy, it's amazing. You get to do so many other things that you couldn't do prior to that. If you're tired of hurting in the mornings, you want to improve your health, you want to feel better, give a call to Tri-State Men's Health. I promise you, you will feel better.
Thanks, Billy. It's true. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Get Eco.
ECO. Aaron? Which brand of air conditioner is the most energy efficient?
It's the one that's had its outside coils cleaned correctly.
Well, I can wash those off with a garden hose, right?
No.
Why not?
Humidity mixes with dust and pollen to create a microthin film of sticky paste that gets baked onto those hot outside coils.
And that baked-on stuff keeps my coils from releasing their heat into the atmosphere.
Which means your system has to run longer, which uses a lot more energy and it shortens the life of your air conditioner.
Get Eco.
ECO. How do we get that baked-on stuff off?
Remove the exterior shroud, then spray the coils from the inside out with a special eco-friendly solvent.
Can I rinse the solvent off with a garden hose?
Yeah, but only from the inside out.
Or I could just pay Eco to do it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco doesn't take shortcuts. We do it the right way every time.
Get Eco professional coil cleaning for just $468.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Well, Trina, now you're in charge of ordering food for the office, so meet my mountain of menus.
So, this should be easy.
Easy as pie. You know the mathematical constant for a circle circumference to diameter ratio, pi? It's super complicated.
In that case, I'll be using EasyCater. It's got everything on one simple platform. Tons of restaurants, dietary preferences, even digital receipts.
But my mountain of menus.
How about I order us some pie?
EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
Common Man and Bob Capace here for Worthington Jewelers. Bob, you know what I love the most about you?
That I pay you to do these commercials?
That and the way you treat your customers.
All right, listen. I will hook you up in our warm, inviting environment. You will be greeted by our top sales professionals that are non-commissioned, but will help guide you through the entire process.
You're my guy, Bob. Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com. Tell them Bob Capace sent you.
Hi there, I'm Ryan Reynolds, and like most actors, I have a list of things that I like to have on set. It's called a rider. It's just little things like wind chimes being blown by a easterly breeze, a 7-year-old calico cat to purr on my lap, and of course 2 freshly cracked eggs scrambled with crispy hash brown sausage crumble and creamy chipotle sauce from Tim Hortons. It smells amazing. Now where did I put that hand-carved wooden spoon? From my rider to Tim's menu, try my new scrambled eggs loaded breakfast box.
Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at the Honda dealership here in Central Ohio, Germain Honda of Dublin. You know the brand, you know the reliability and the styling. Now get to know the deals. Grab a new 25 Honda HR-V, a 25 Accord SE, or even a 25 CR-V LX all-wheel drive for 0% up to 36 months. Talk to my man Rich. Get the right vehicle, the right deal at the right dealer. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Now get 60% off and a free entry door with a house of windows. Visit windownation.com.
Our little breaking Buckeye news for you before we get to truth and get on out of here. Class of 26, 4-star corner Jordan Thomas. Just in the last 5-10 minutes has made his choice. And you're talking about a kid that had choices. You know, I guess when you're recruited by Ohio State, you should have a lot of choices, and he did. But they were Notre Dame and A&M and Auburn and Michigan, and he took unofficial visits to all of his finalists. I think those were the 4, Matty. Okay. Auburn, Michigan, Notre Dame, and A&M with Ohio State, because he was here on April 6th, and he came here in March as well. And I guess he was set to go. So he's going to reunite with Quincy Porter, who's a 4-star signee for the Bucs in the 25 class. And so he is the number 3 prospect in the state of New Jersey, top 25 cornerback in the 26 cycle, 6'1", 185. Probably an outside corner, maybe has the versatility to play inside as a nickel back. We'll see. Young kid, but they say here's the scouting report. Physical, possesses impressive ball skills, sound technique and pass coverage, a willing tackler, delivers strong hits.
Love to hear it.
Going to play both ways in high school, obviously. Plays wide receiver there.
Oh, yeah. In high school, when you're that good, you're playing both sides of the ball.
Get him on the field.
Yeah, this the defensive back coaches over at Ohio State have been putting in work. Like, they've been doing some really good things over that 2025 cycle. When you look at Devin Sanchez coming in, and now you got these guys coming in with Jacob Weatherspoon in the 26 cycle, along now with Jordan Thomas, as you mentioned. So that 26 class for Ohio State, they got them moving on up. Over at 24/7 Sports right now, they have the 3rd-ranked recruiting class. I don't know if that includes Thomas in this, but right now it's USC, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. So no surprise, Coach Day and his gang over there absolutely cooking on the trail, and I don't think it's slowing down anytime soon.
Matty, are they moving up to a deluxe apartment in the sky, though? That's what I wanted to ask.
Penthouse action. We got a butler up there and everything for you.
All right, loose cannon, take us home.
All righty, that is a reference that I did pick up on, just to be clear.
That's pretty amazing.
Thank you. Yesterday was National Eat What You Want.
Hang on a minute.
Well, you got it.
I was going to give you a little.
Very proud of you. That's very nice.
Also, what is the reference?
The Jeffersons.
There you go.
Jeffersons, yeah.
Thank you. All right. Yesterday was National Eat What You Want Day. Did you have any meals of note yesterday? Perhaps a Mother's Day dinner, something? I know, Ice, you and I usually eat pretty good. Did we break any rules yesterday?
Yesterday, I stumbled into with the Queen Bee, took her out for Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah. That's
no rules, just right.
It was like a half and half. I had a nice bacon cheeseburger, and she did a salmon PLT. So she did a salmon with...
what's the P?
Prosciutto? I'm saying that. I'm messing that. Prosciutto, yes. Like a ham, form of ham, correct, I believe?
It's
something like that.
You're going ham?
It was... So
Damn.
It sounds fancier than it is. It's meat.
That's what it was. So I took half of her salmon PLT. I had that with my half of bacon cheeseburger and some sweet potato fries. So that was good stuff yesterday.
You know, it's funny. At the old charity golf outing for Homeless to Home, I always decide between the regular fries and the sweet potato fries.
Yeah.
And then I just say, do both.
Give me them both.
Do both. Not for me, but for the patrons.
Gotcha.
You know. And I think you either love them or you don't. I'm a big fan of sweet potato fries. Love them.
They're fire.
I think they're great. But there's some people that, no way.
Yeah, I love them.
Doesn't sound right. Now, here's the hidden. There's also a little bit of a hidden gem that I found out because you know I'm a local restaurateur. I believe when you go with the sweet potato waffle fry,
okay,
it holds its heat better.
Okay.
Than if you would think it wouldn't. You think the heat would just disperse, but for some reason,
there are holes in it.
Holes, Jerry.
So you're the Guy Fieri of Columbus, restaurateur?
No.
Okay.
My buddy Georgie Boy and he is the restaurateur.
Gotcha.
Shout out Rodizio and Melting Pot. We took over for a summer years ago. Did you know this? That I was running the restaurant at Little Turtle?
Wait a minute.
Do you guys know this?
You were the manager up in there?
I don't know about a manager guy, but maybe I was assistant to the assistant manager.
You were telling people what to do.
No, I wasn't telling anybody what to do.
Were you
I was
serving
taking
people?
inventory and coming up with a menu and all that.
And eating free food.
Hey,
there we go. There we go.
Boing. So here's the best part of the story.
Oh, man.
So I convinced him. We both played. I go, come on, you know this stuff. Let's run it.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen? We'll eat for free. We'll play some golf. And he's like, no, I come here to relax. I don't want to deal with all that stuff.
I get it. Yeah.
So anyway, of course, I won. Convinced him to do it.
Yeah.
Did it for a summer. And so I don't know if it was Business First or some local online, they wrote a story about it with the menu and this and that. And they listed us as local restaurateurs, Anthony Rothman and George Shabosky.
You're official.
So not only was I mentioned, I was listed first.
As like an owner.
All I know how to do is sit, pull up a chair. That's all I know how to do. And I've never let him live it down.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
If things go south, things could go south.
Before we go,
Profound,
if you ever miss anything from our show, don't worry. You can always catch up.
Yeah.
Wherever you get your podcast, just type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3, we'll be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the Rothman and Ice podcast as well. Bet365 is the exclusive sports betting sponsor of the Rothman and Ice podcast. Coming up, top of the hour, Common Man, Timmy. They kick off their new show, so do not move.
I want to play it one more time.
If things go south, things could go south.
It could go south. All right, we will come back tomorrow at high noon. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling, 1-800-COOLING.
Join the Reds and their quest for the coveted Ohio Cup in a weekend series against the Cleveland Guardians, May 16th through the 18th. On Saturday, May 17th, rev your engines for Reds Racing Night. To celebrate the Reds' participation in this summer's MLB Speedway Classic at Bristol, fans in attendance will receive a Mr. Reds race car bobblehead presented by Kroger while supplies last. Secure your seats now at reds.com/tickets.
He opens his toolbox before he opens his wallet and believes you can fix anything with 20 minutes and some pride. He's Mr. DIY. Then when he needs metal, he goes to metal supermarkets. Artists, hobbyists, machine shops, maintenance professionals, and welders all count on metal supermarkets for over 8,000 metal products, shapes, and grades. If it's metal, they've got it or can get it for you. Cut to any size and ready fast. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
If my buttery smooth voice represents the photos in your social media feed,
And this is closer to what real life is like. Social media can be fun, but remember, it's only showing you
the filtered version of life. So when social media is stressing you out, check in on yourself and remember, it's not the whole story. For more tips on reducing your stress, go to mha.ohio.gov/check-in. A message from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
This summer, save more with hot deals on Meijer brand must-haves for $2 or less all season long.
Like Meijer potato chips?
Yep.
Hamburger buns?
Of course.
Ketchup?
Absolutely.
How about Meijer lemonade? That's my favorite.
Yep, that too. Plus pickles, baked beans, cheese slices for sandwiches. It's your favorite Meijer brand must-haves for $2 or less all season long.
Now that is a good deal better.
Only at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. If you are retired or in the planning stages, we can help you maximize your income. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought pain, it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, that's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Walkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around a golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-228-4544. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal